so they can do more monitoring within that environment. Lovely, Glenn. Thank you very much indeed. That's Glenn Boddington. The producer is Annie Tourouche. Our studio manager today is Giles Aspen. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Your groceries delivered.
En Rhône-Alpes, à la Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur et en Corse, le soleil balayera rapidement les canaux matinales présentes au lever du jour. Entre le Piémont pyrénéen et la Garonne, les nuages basses tarderont à se dissiper, mais l'après-midi sera bien ensoleillé. En revanche, la journée s'annonce nettement plus nuageuse sur les pays de la Loire, la Bretagne, la Normandie et le Nord-Pas-de-Calais, ainsi qu'entre l'Aude et l'Hérault. Quelques gouttes seront même possibles sur le nord-ouest. Tous ces nuages, l'ambiance sera évidemment un peu plus fraîche avec des maximales variant entre 11 et 17 degrés. Et en marge de la perturbation qui circulera sur le nord-ouest, il deviendra plus voilé l'après-midi entre le Pays-Bas, l'Île-de-France et les Ardennes.
Il est 20h, presque 21h, soyons précis. Bonsoir à vous, sur Zigbourg. Nous avons le plaisir de rester en votre compagnie sur France.
Bonsoir, Jean-François, exactement jusqu'à minuit. Et bonsoir à tous. Tous les regards sont braqués sur l'Essonne. Le département concentre à lui seul un quart des risques.
Traffic and weather. This is 680 News. Good afternoon, it's Wednesday, February 24th. I'm James Monroe.
I'm Sljana Tibbins, and here are the top stories right now.
A nanny likely saved the life of two kids before she herself was severely injured in a crash on St. Clair West that brought out the heroism of a neighborhood.
Breaking news from the streets.
Friend in what's it called, Marceau, Italia, Via Italia.
Killed a man yesterday. We'll report in seconds. Questions over the Ford government's vaccine rollout as Ontario falls behind on administering doses in comparison with other provinces. Maple Leafs get Zach Hyman back in the lineup tonight. Raptors go for the win in Miami, and Vlad Jr. will be the Jays' primary first baseman this season. Sports at 15.
Stocks taking flight. Dow's up 400, oil at its highest price in a year. Business at 26.
680 News Time, 301.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Carrie Pruskus.
This report is brought to you by Diamond and Diamond Lawyers. Watch out for a stalled vehicle eastbound on the 401. It's east of Victoria Park and the Collectors, blocking the right lane. There's no delay there. It is busy across the city, though, on the eastbound 401 from the 427 to the 400 Express and Collectors. Pretty typical volume delays there. Westbound on the 401, that's still busy from the Allen to about the 400, alternately Express and Collectors. We had some earlier problems approaching Kiel and the Collectors, still dealing with that residual backup. And a slow go heading into Mississauga from west of here, Ontario and the Express, and from Mavis and the Collectors to approaching Mississauga Road. Delays on the westbound Gardner QEW combination from west of the DDP to west of Strawn, and from Ford Drive to Trafalgar. Northbound Don Valley Parkway continues to fill in as you're approaching Don Mills to north of Lawrence. On city streets, westbound St. Clair is still closed west of Dufferin. All lanes shut down from Via Italia to Earls Court for a collision investigation. Serious injuries need serious results. When it comes to fighting for your rights, there's nothing tougher than a diamond. Call Diamond and Diamond for a free consultation. 1-800-567-HURT. And now with the forecast, Natasha, a little taste of spring before Mother Nature reminds us, yeah, it's still winter.
Yeah, so the key word there was little, because it's going to be over in a few hours. We've got this cold front coming through this evening. It's going to do a couple of things, switch those winds to the northwest. It's going to be pretty gusty, 60 to 70 kilometers per hour this evening, likely bringing in a few scattered showers, but also, more importantly, those falling temperatures down to -5. All those wet roads and sidewalks out there, we're going to see some ice patches out there, so leave some extra travel time in the morning, and that wind chill -12 to start. After a cloudy start, we'll get into some sun in the afternoon and 1 degree the high. Overnight tonight down to -5. It is currently 8 degrees at Pearson.
680 News Time, 303.
A woman believed to be a nanny suffered life-threatening injuries after she was pinned against a store when a black SUV went off St. Clair Avenue West near Dufferin. 2 other young victims suffering minor injuries.
680's Mark Douglas joins us live with the latest from the scene. Mark.
Sljana, this woman was pushed right into a storefront window by an SUV as it was reversing up onto the curb. Happened around 11:30 this morning here on St. Clair West at Boone Avenue. That's just a little bit west of Dufferin. The Toronto police say the woman is a nanny in her 30s. She suffered life-threatening injuries, but not before she likely saved the life of the 2 kids in the stroller she was looking after. She's possibly pushed this stroller out of the way of the vehicle. Duty Inspector Michael Williams says the nanny is a hero. The kids in the stroller are 2 and 5 years old.
And those children, again, so lucky and
And we're glad that they're just in the hospital with very minor injuries. The nanny's not the only hero here. A couple dozen neighborhood heroes ran over to help as best they could, and among them, St. Clair Avenue dentist Dr. Gary Klein and his office manager, Tara.
I went to the babies. He went to the lady that was laying there, and he was very calm and careful with her.
All I could tell was I would think that she probably had significant head injuries, but we were just trying to console her and calm her, knowing that emergency was on their way.
Now, the driver of the SUV, 82 years old, he is unhurt. He's been taken to hospital to be checked out, though. No immediate signs of impairment or anything like that. Toronto police say this was certainly not an intentional act. The scene on St. Clair Avenue West on the westbound side is still closed for the investigation, and that's just around the Dufferin Street area. Reporting live on St. Clair, I'm Mark Douglas.
With breaking news from downtown, the search for a missing Toronto woman has taken a dire turn, with investigators confirming human remains have been found. They've not yet made a formal identification, but they've charged a man in the case. 59-year-old Orson York charged with indignity to a body. Police say the remains were found at 291 George Street, the same building where police shot and killed a man early yesterday morning. He's been ID'd as 45-year-old Ali Getty. Homicide detectives have taken over the case.
2 people have been arrested as police in Hamilton investigated claim that a body of a baby was buried at a house in the city's downtown core. A 34-year-old man and 24-year-old woman have been taken into custody. They are set to appear in court later today.
At this point, it's a report, and we still need to investigate into the accuracy of that report. A witness or a member of the community came forward, which is what started this investigation.
Police won't reveal what charges the 2 people face until after they've appeared in court. Investigators expect to be at the Wellington Street North House for several days.
This portion of the news brought to you by Bath Fitter. We're getting some clarity on the vaccine rollout front today, including a centralized online and telephone booking system set to start in mid-March. Here's 6 Cities Irene Parkland.
We now know more of the how and when. The head of Ontario's Vaccine Task Force, General Rick Hillier, says starting on March 15th, the province will begin taking reservations for vaccination appointments, either online or through a call center. The vaccinations will start the week after that, which takes us to March 22nd.
So starting the 3rd week of March, it was 80-year-olds and plus. Starting the 15th of April, it will be 75 years old and plus. Starting the 1st of May, it will be 70-year-olds and plus. And starting the 1st of June, it will be 65-year-olds and plus, and it will go down further from there.
He says they hope to start vaccinating essential workers on May 1st. And ahead of all of this, Hillier says the province will launch an information blitz so people know their options. I'm Irene Parkland. Premier Ford is continuing to defend his government's ability to provide vaccines to the province's elderly, but the criticism is mounting. 680's Alex Bloomfield joins us live with the latest. Alex.
Also, Janet, the federal rollout of doses has been roughly proportional to population, so why are some provinces pulling ahead and opening up vaccines to new groups? Opposition leader Andrea Horvath says if booking portals are now open for seniors in Alberta and Quebec, they should be open in Ontario too.
That shows that this province, notwithstanding the fact that the government has had months and months to plan, are going to have to wait longer. And Ontarians deserve better than that.
But Premier Ford is standing by his timeline, saying the province is ensuring the most vulnerable are protected first.
We have more people in Ontario who are fully vaccinated, who have received both shots, than all the provinces combined.
Says they can make sure they finish off those under the phase 1 category before moving on to new groups. By one analysis, Ontario now sits 4th last amongst provinces and territories in terms of doses administered per 100,000 people. Reporting live, I'm Alex Bloomfield.
So the latest numbers, 1,054 new cases of COVID also being reported in Ontario. That's a day-over-day increase. Testing is also up. Almost 55,000 tests were processed in this latest batch, bringing the positivity rate down to 2.4%. Toronto reporting 363 new cases, 9 additional deaths.
This is 6 City News. We're hearing powerful deputations about systemic racism within the York Regional Police Force today. 6 City's Mullen Crush, she's listening in.
The 4 black officers delivering powerful deputations outlining their personal experience with anti-black racism inside York Regional Police, including Special Constable Vernley France, who has 19
person
years
color,
experience,
visible minority, non-white, whatever, but
racial
he's not
slurs
black.
from superior officers.
He can choose to be black, like the cop said.
Physical abuse at the hand of another senior York Regional Police officer, only because I decided to stand up to protect myself I have no faith, no trust in this organization to do the right thing.
Jim McSween took the job as your police chief last year, saying he recognizes that anti-black racism exists.
The same hard work we do in our diverse communities must also be reflected within our organization.
McSween outlining several initiatives that are being implemented to address the issue. I'm Mohamed Qureshi.
He'll check us next. This is 680 News.
Oh, just 10 minutes, eh? Holy. So it's odd that you could arrest somebody for allegedly burying a baby and then not telling the public what you're charging them with. Well, the implication there, the inference you would draw is that there was a baby and now the baby cannot be located and these two idiots can't explain what happened, which is probably what's happening, but otherwise it is a little unusual.
Gas price update, it'll rise again this at midnight to $1.23.9.
At jackpotcity.net, you can do amazing things with just one casino chip. Discover a world of incredible casino games with over 500 high-quality online slot games, including the world-renowned progressive jackpot slot, Mega Moolah. Play for free at jackpotcity.net and get treated as a VIP 24/7. So visit jackpotcity.net today on your tablet, laptop, or mobile. Jackpot City, a whole world of casino games. 18 plus. Please play responsibly. This is not a gambling website.
Let's pretend I was going to ask you to marry.
My socks actually are the same color.
What ring would you have in mind?
They're both white. They're both white.
They're not too subtle and not traditional, but not
But
traditional.
they're both left foot socks too.
Stunning and uniquely representative of our everlasting love.
Okay.
But honestly, I haven't really thought about it that much.
Right. Find that perfectly unique ring for that perfectly unique person at Spence Diamonds. Open now in Bond, Scarborough, and Mississauga.
311.
Traffic and weather together on the ones, O'Carey.
This report is brought to you by AGM Renovations. We're not dealing with any major problems on the major routes, just volume delays. On the eastbound 401, it's slow going from the 427 to the 400 express.
Are they going to break up all four officers' testimony into four separate sound bites?
That has cleared. Westbound on the 401, just a slight delay approaching the 400 in the collectors. Much heavier volume into Mississauga, though. It's jammed up from just west of here, Ontario, in the express, and from Mavis and the collectors to approaching Mississauga Road. A slow go on the westbound Gardner from west of the DVP to west of Strawn. And it's busy on the westbound QEW from Ford Drive to Trafalgar, and a bit of a drag as well through Third Line. Eastbound QEW, that's slow from Trafalgar to Ford Drive. Looks good, though, eastbound on the Gardner. Northbound Don Valley Parkway already jammed from Bloor to north of Lawrence, but it's smooth sailing on the northbound 404. Northbound 400 is lightly traveled as well from the 401 up to Barrie. Problems in town, westbound St. Clair. All lanes have just reopened on westbound St. Clair west of Dufferin, so you're good to go now from Via Italia to Earl's Court. Southbound Dufferin approaching Finch, you might still find the two right lanes blocked there. That's due to a collision, according to traffic spotters. And in Scarborough, northbound Kennedy approaching Progress. Only the right lane is getting through. That's due to some maintenance work, so traffic is heavy from Ellesmere. How about the money you save staying at home you spend on your home? Increase your living space. Finish your basement. Call AGM now and get $5,000 off your new basement. Visit agmrenovations.com. And now with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Okay, Carrie, -5 overnight tonight. Back to reality as this cold front comes through this evening. So it may also pass through with a couple of showers. We've got melting that's been happening through the day. So that -5 in the morning means, yes, it'll be icy out there in some spots. Mainly cloudy to start. And then we're going to get the sun in the afternoon, a high of 1. Looking for trace to a centimeter or 2, just a light dusting of snow Thursday night. So watch for, again, icy conditions on Friday morning. But it's going to be a mainly sunny way to end off the week on Friday with a high of 2. Tonight, down to a low of -5. It is currently 8 degrees at Pearson.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute. Hey, Richie.
James, how does this afternoon find you?
It's nice and warm, which I'm enjoying.
Feels like 20 degrees almost out there, doesn't it, James? Feels pretty good on the markets, too, right now. The afternoon finding Wall Street very well. The Dow's up 400 points.
31,950, record high territory. S&P 500 up 1%, Nasdaq's up 85. Investors coming back to stocks after a couple of days of weakness. The TSX is up 173 points at 18,501. The price of gold a little bit lower, back below 1,800 US dollars the ounce. We got Bitcoin right now trading at 49,000 US, and the Canadian dollar up to 79.83 cents US. This is 680 News.
We're all rethinking risk these days. Your investments should be no exception. A financial advisor can help you build a resilient portfolio. Learn more at dynamic.ca/advice.
Who decides which employees can work from home?
Do I have to pay employees when they're self-isolating?
What can I do?
Pour Windsor, la péninsule du Niagara, ça va rester relativement chaud.
A lot of people are saying, screw that. I'm not paying $2,000 out of pocket, for something that really isn't something that they can enforce, or you're feeling they can't enforce, or you just don't have the money and you're willing to take your chances because it's now widely established that they'll give you a ticket at worst and you can keep walking and you'll quarantine at home, because I guess if you're found to be in breach of that, they can also penalize you further. But again, have they got the resources to enforce and to check up?
No, they
when you're in that
can't really, depending on what you mean with that, because
they
already punish you for not quarantining.
They can certainly keep tabs on you there. And some people are really miffed at the prospect of having to be enforced into a detention center, as it were. So here's the drill, though, because the police are refusing to enforce the quarantine laws, it makes you wonder about enforcement in general and just how meaningful it is. Because there's another story. Remember the Adamson barbecue guy?
Yeah, fuck him.
Adam
He
Skilling,
yelled up my
in
buddy's
defiance
tail here.
of the lockdown order that didn't allow for in-restaurant dining, and said screw it. At the exhibition there where he has a site, or somewhere in the neighborhood, I think it is anyway, he's decided that he would open up and allow a few people in. This was back late fall, December. Anyway, the guy was charged. And he's been fighting the charge. Well, now he got an invoice from the city for the policing. The contingent of cops that showed up, and they were many, more than necessary by all accounts. But I guess the city wanted to show force or what. So now he's received this invoice of $187,030.56, almost $200,000. The bill, the city has billed this dude because they believe that that's what it cost for the enforcement. But you see, and we're going to talk to somebody from the Canadian Civil Liberties Association later in the program. Their concern is that this would set a precedent, and it sure as hell would. I mean, if you're going to start charging people for enforcement, what do we say? If you don't enforce things and they get away from you or get out of hand, I mean, or the Peel Regional Police in dereliction of duty out there, what do? We charge them because they've also put public safety at risk? I mean, this can be
I don't think you understand what you're
spun several ways. And so the idea that, well, listen, Skelly at the time was breaking the law. Well, but how about any perp? Your typical couple raising.
You can be billed for shit, man.
Standard vulnerable hero who can fly and fire heat rays out of his eye.
Shot that man.
Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
When it comes to building brand awareness, Nick DiDonato, President and CEO of Liberty Entertainment Group, advertises on 680 News to help spread the word.
Liberty Entertainment Group runs multiple restaurants and entertainment venues throughout Toronto. When we were awarded the Gamba Rosso Best Restaurant Opening in the World for Don Alfonso 1890, it was big international news. What better way to get the news out to Toronto?
You were saying for a while it was the second best.
Experts at 680 News are always on hand for professional guidance.
The team at 680 News understood what we wanted to accomplish and eloquently drafted up some commercials that really got the message out for us. Don Alfonso had arrived in Toronto. Our marketing campaign on 680 News was an overwhelming success.
And the secret of that success?
Consistency on message and frequency. So being on 680 News for a long period of time, delivering the message of our Michelin chef at Don Alfonso really worked. 680 News is the way to go.
Get 680 News working for you. Visit 680ads.com. That's 680ads.com.
So the city has updated its COVID cancellation list. Mayor Tory says all city-led in-person events are canceled until July. That includes Canada Day.
Today's announcement, I know this comes as very disappointing news to people, and it's no more pleasant to deliver it than it is to receive it. But today's announcement includes festivals and other large in-person gatherings held at outdoor sites managed by the city or other public locations, such as on roads or our parks or in our civic squares.
Other big events that will be virtual include the Pride Parade and the Toronto Marathon. A security guard who works as a quarantine screening officer has been charged with sexual assault related to a compliance check in Oakville. All police say he's employed by one of the 4 private companies hired and trained by Public Health Canada. Screening officers visit travelers' quarantine locations to make sure they're following the rules. It's alleged this guard went to a home in Oakville last Thursday, told the victim she was in violation, and demanded a fine be paid in cash. It's also alleged that when the victim refused to pay, she was sexually assaulted. 27-year-old Hamilton man has been charged with sex assault and extortion. Police say they won't be revealing the name of the security company, but can confirm he's been suspended. Court date March 23rd.
It's one of the 4. It's one of the 4, so we're going to look into this.
Prosecutor declined to pursue charges of drunken driving and reckless driving against Bruce Springsteen
He admitted.
because his blood alcohol level was 0.02, a quarter of the legal limit in New Jersey. Springsteen pleaded guilty to a 3rd charge, consuming alcohol in a closed area. Springsteen told a judge during a video conference he had 2 small shots of tequila. He will pay a $500 fine. U.S. Park Police say an officer saw Springsteen drink a shot of tequila and drive on his motorcycle in the Gateway National Recreation Area in New Jersey in November. I'm Margie Zarrella.
It's Bruce Springsteen.
We'll check traffic and weather next.
Between shoveling driveways, carrying giant bags of salt, and pulling toboggans up the hill all day, winter can be hard on your back. It's a good thing the 2020 Toyota RAV4 LE all-wheel drive with standard heated front seats has got your back.
Now, I thought he declined the blood alcohol test, the breathalyzer test. That's what they told us, what was it, a week ago? You ever hear somebody get a DUI and a week later the case is over? What the fuck?
At your local Ontario Toyota dealer. I'm here in the
I'm just wondering, what New Jersey Highway Patrol cop doesn't recognize Bruce Springsteen? I just wondering, like, what so? I'm just wondering.
Electronics, and we're marking everything down up to 70% off. Plus, take up to 36 months to pay interest-free. Your best price guaranteed, and a bonus 2-year warranty on premium TVs. And also, I shouldn't be operating this forklift. Sorry. See the flyer at visions.ca.
680 U side 321.
Traffic and weather together.
Keep pronouncing it
This
that
report
way.
is brought to you by 407 ETR. Westbound on the Gardner, it's busy out of downtown from just west of the DVP to west of Strawn, but a problem-free drive. Westbound on the QEW, you'll find delays in Oakville from Ford Drive to Trafalgar. Opens up for a stretch, then it starts to fill in again around Bronte and continues busy to about Walker's Line. Eastbound on the QEW, that's still going approaching Trafalgar to Ford Drive. Looks good on the eastbound Gardner into downtown. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway, heavy delays now from Girard all the way up to about York Mills. And westbound on the 401, just a slight delay as you approach the 400 and the Collectors. And into Mississauga, it's busy from west of Huron, Ontario and the Express, and from Mavis and the Collectors to approaching Mississauga Road. Eastbound on the 401, still going from the 427 to the 400 Express and Collectors.
On the north
and it's
side,
busy on the southbound 404 from just south of Finch onto the 401 ramps. Looks like a good drive on the southbound DVP. On city streets, a reminder that westbound St. Clair has reopened west of Dufferin. Looking for an update, though, on a collision southbound on Dufferin approaching Finch. Last we heard from traffic spotters, the 2 right lanes were closed because of a collision. So any updates appreciated at star 680. And in Scarborough, we have this maintenance work northbound on Kennedy approaching Progress. Only the right lane is open to traffic. A heavy backup from
That's the
approaching
neighborhood where
Ellesmere.
something like 2,500 people, the highest percentage of any district in Canada, signed up for World War I. And was it Prince?
To see how they're doing their part. And that
Oh,
would
these
be extended
motherfuckers changed the
forecasters
prince
that
that became a
have
king with a different name,
It's not
came
bad.
and
It's the
visited.
last week here of February, and tonight we do have a cold front coming through, so that always drops our temperatures, brings in these gusty northwest winds up to about 60 to 70 kilometers per hour this evening, and we'll wake up to -5 wind chill, -12. Yes, it's going to be a little bit icy out there, especially with some of this melting we've had through today. A little bit of cloud tomorrow morning, sun in the afternoon, and a high of 1, and then by tomorrow night, another trace to 2 centimeters will fall while we're sleeping, so leave some extra time on Friday morning to dust off the car. Mainly sunny skies through the day. Friday's high 2, and Saturday, board game day. We've got wet snow in the morning. Hey, unless you want to head out into the wet snow, it's not that bad. It's just switching over to rain through the afternoon and a high of 6. Overnight tonight, down to low of -5. It is currently 7 degrees at Pearson.
Coming up the bottom of the hour, Danny is suffering life-threatening injuries after she was pinned against the storm when a black SUV went off St. Clair near Dufferin. 2 other young victims suffering minor injuries. Good Samaritans jumped in to help out. 680 News is on the scene. We'll tell you that story. And we have an update now from the LA County Sheriff's Office. The rollover crash that seriously injured Tiger Woods yesterday was an accident. Investigators will not be pursuing any charges against the golf legend. This coming from the LA County Sheriff in a Facebook live chat. Tiger Woods is awake, responsive, and recovering in hospital from major surgery. This is 680 News.
Out with the old and in with the new. It's something you hear a lot this time of year.
Yesterday they were telling us that they didn't draw any blood.
Start at your home and your life with Access Storage. With a safe place to store the belongings you love but don't have space for. Access Storage can be your resolution solution with flexible and affordable storage options and more than 100 convenient locations in Ontario. Get on with your new year. Access Storage. Shop Canadian, store Canadian. Try 4 weeks free. Visit accessstorage.ca.
The big story.
I'm your host, Jordan Heath Rawlings. Will the Canadian government go to war with Facebook? Listen at thebigstorypodcast.ca.
Hey, we're sending warships down to piss off China because we're stupid.
Coming up in 60 seconds, Richie's Wide World of Business.
You deserve the best.
Right,
Find it at Coventry North Jaguar Land Rover. We've been servicing Jaguar and Land Rovers for...
And they have kids, our nieces and nephews. They talk every single day. And
Mark Sakino is going to join us, host and producer of Golf Talk Canada, whether or not. You know, in some ways, I'd love to see Tiger back on the links, maybe competitively. It's still too early to tell. Obviously, with the injuries, but those sustained sound pretty severe. And given, pins and screws and, a rod inserted in this leg.
Those are unfair
Leg,
advantages.
the push-off leg. That doesn't augur well. So I don't know. Maybe in my mind anyway, as much as you'd emotionally like to see him come back, if he's not going to be competitive, I'd rather see him stand down and maybe retire from competitive golf. But we'll find out how our friend does feel about that. Get some calls in an hour or two. Right now, I just wanted to get your sense for this Adam SICKLY. And some would say, yeah, he flouted the law and therefore he ought to pay. They sent him an invoice, the city did, for close to $200,000, $187,000. So the city spokesperson, Brad Ross, says there was a significant amount of time that the police and city incurred in dealing with this issue in terms of his opening the establishment and our need to close it under public health orders.
My business.
Yeah, okay. And so there were
same concept. I'm involved in a few chats. One's a motorcycle group. One is a hobby, another hobby we do. Another one's related to work, guys from work. And we chime in. We do our own thing. If it's something you really want to...
Oh, I need coffee bad.
The Canadian banks are reporting their first quarter earnings, and they're good. Like, the banks are back to where they were, even better than where they were before the pandemic. Today it was Royal Bank that reported the first
back to where they were
from a year ago, beating the street.
Yeah, you notice the banks never once complained about losing money
management
this
this
year.
year. Very, the Canadian banks are doing well, aren't they?
The fact of the matter is, Richard, very few companies went bankrupt. And so the banks took gigantic loan losses in advance of what they thought was going to be just a disastrous economy. No question, disastrous for a few, but it wasn't disastrous for many. And now the banks get to put those loan losses that they took back on the balance sheets. The earnings are incredibly strong. The other parts of their business, as we all know, the housing market is on fire. Capital markets are on fire. I mean, people are buying any single IPO, whether it's Bitcoin or baseball cards, and people are borrowing money left and right to do this. So it's very strong for the Canadian banking system.
Royal Bank shares up 17 cents at $112. Again, the TSX up 182, the Dow's up 436. Price of oil at the highest in more than a year now at $63.13. Bitcoin trades at 48,900 US. And the Canadian dollar 79.86 cents US. The top stories are seconds away on 680 News.
If there's one vehicle made for winter in Canada, it's a Subaru. Rain, sleet, or snow, symmetrical all-wheel drive works full-time to give you all the traction you need to be safe on the road. And with safety protocols in place, shopping for a Subaru at Subaru Maple
one more
is the
story
safest
for
for
your
everyone.
reason, please.
Good appointment and bring on
Put
winter
them out one at a
safely
time.
at SubaruofMaple.com. Right now, get ready.
Rencontre de jeunes noirs afin de voir comment ils percevaient justement le mouvement Black Lives Matter.
In the group chat, quelles étaient justement leur perception de ce mouvement aux jeunes que vous avez rencontrés?
Ben, en fait, ce qu'ils m'ont dit, c'est que c'est un mouvement qui a toute sa place, en fait, surtout après les événements de 2020, dont la mort de George Floyd. Et donc, moi, j'ai parlé avec 3 jeunes de la génération Z, plus jeunes à 13 ans, ensuite 16 ans, 18 ans. Puis, je trouvais que c'était important quand même parce qu'on a beaucoup entendu la voix des experts, des présidents d'associations, des adultes même. Mais les jeunes, comme on le sait, sont le futur. Puis les mots que j'ai entendus beaucoup, c'était traumatisme, choc, acceptation. On va écouter Jabeth Mutombo, elle a 16 ans, sur la manière dont elle a vécu l'annonce de la mort de George Floyd.
Ça m'avait vraiment choqué les choses de George Floyd, un de nos frères qui s'est fait traiter comme si on n'était pas des humains. Quoi. La communauté noire veut juste dire que, veut juste se faire manifester que oui, on existe, on est des humains, on a les sentiments, des fois on se sent mal aussi, des fois on pleure, donc c'est pas qu'on est des animaux.
Et il y a une autre adolescente, Laetitia Mourou, elle a 18 ans. Elle a dit en fait qu'elle savait que ce problème existait, mais que ce n'était pas nécessairement reconnu par tous. Donc elle dit un peu, s'il n'y avait pas eu Internet, les gens auraient pensé que c'était une histoire non fondée. Mais à partir de tout le monde voyait que c'était bien réel. Elle dit aussi en fait que
I didn't know, or I don't know, or the ones that start off yelling, no, it's not, it doesn't happen, no, it's not.
C'est un peu ça qui est passé comme message.
C'est un événement traumatique certainement pour cette génération aussi. Est-ce qu'ils ont l'impression qu'il y a un avant et un après l'incident tragique de la mort de George Floyd?
Définitivement, oui, les 3 sont du même avis par rapport à ça. Ils estiment que le chapitre où la communauté noire revendiquait timidement l'égalité des droits civiques a laissé place aujourd'hui à celle où elle se mobilise en fait pour exiger un changement immédiat. Par contre, ils disent qu'ils ne peuvent pas s'empêcher de se demander si la cause noire a vraiment évolué ou si finalement les événements marquants de 2020 n'étaient qu'un feu de paille sur lequel il va falloir souffler à nouveau pour revendiquer un monde plus juste, plus égalitaire. Pourquoi? Parce que le mouvement Black Lives Matter existe depuis 2013, donc c'est pas très récent, il n'est pas juste apparu dans la sphère médiatique à cause de George Floyd. Donc il y a eu d'autres personnes qui sont décédées aussi sous ces mêmes conditions-là. Et eux, ce qu'ils constatent, c'est que malgré tout ce qui s'est passé, l'appui qui a été envoyé vers la communauté noire, ce qui a afflué les 4 coins du globe, il y a encore des disparités, il y a encore des barrières qui persistent pour eux. Puis je vais vous expliquer l'histoire. L'été dernier, donc au moment où il y avait vraiment toutes les manifestations dans le paysage médiatique, elle se cherchait un travail d'étudiant. Donc elle allait dans une entreprise de restauration rapide d'Edmonton pour simplement déposer son CV. Son succès, ce qu'on lui disait, c'est que non, on n'embauche personne. Elle dit qu'elle repassait là à plusieurs reprises, donc elle voyait à chaque fois l'affiche qui était toujours dans la fenêtre. Donc elle retentait sa chance, mais on lui a dit non, on vous a dit qu'on n'embauche personne et tout. Donc au 3e refus, au moment où elle a décidé finalement d'abandonner, elle a croisé une de ses amies qui, entre parenthèses, est une personne blanche en fait, qui lui a dit qu'elle venait de déposer donc son CV au même endroit en fait où cette jeune de 16 ans avait eu 3 refus. Donc dans l'incompréhension, elles sont retournées ensemble, puis elles ont demandé à voir la gérante qui à ce moment-là aurait nié avoir refusé donc de prendre le CV de la jeune fille, et c'est là en fait qu'elle a accepté. Laetitia, une autre adolescente donc de 18 ans à qui j'ai parlé, ce qu'elle dit, c'est qu'elle n'a jamais été victime de racisme ou de discrimination. Par contre, quand elle est arrivée au Canada en 2018, elle se sentait un peu isolée. Elle dit qu'il n'y a personne qui lui parlait vraiment dans sa classe, sauf le prof, et que même 3 ans plus tard, il y a un léger malaise qui persiste. On peut l'écouter.
Même maintenant, il y a des gens de ma classe qui me parlent même pas, qui ne considèrent même pas que je suis dans la même classe qu'eux. Ça prend du temps de s'habituer et que les gens s'habituent à te voir, à te parler, tout ça. Même si vous parlez en classe, vous parlez à l'école, mais en dehors de l'école, ils ne peuvent même pas t'adresser la parole.
Puis je finis avec ce troisième témoignage au niveau des témoignages, donc de TJ qui a présent la même chose. Il n'a jamais été victime de racisme selon lui, ni de discrimination. Par contre, il dit qu'un de ses amis qui a le même âge que...
In the vehicle on the wall, which is unbelievably lucky, and everyone here is thankful that she actually took the actions that she did.
And she's not the only hero. Witnesses tell us about 24 citizens ran over to help, and one of them was local dentist
they're all citizens.
Gary Klein.
One of our patients alerted us that there was a serious accident outside the office here on St. Clair, so we got some. We just got some gear to try to go ahead and give some first aid to this poor woman that was pinned down on the pavement.
Now, the two kids in the stroller, 2 and 5 years old, suffered only minor injuries. One of them had a very bad cut to his chin, though. We are told that the driver of the SUV, 82-year-old man, was not showing any signs of impairment or anything like that. Certainly did not intend to strike this woman down on the sidewalk. St. Clair Avenue West past Dufferin has resumed to normal traffic now. There's still police seen around the tape, and the investigation from here is going
police
to continue.
Seen around the tape.
Services headquarters. Reporting live on St. Clair Avenue West at Dufferin, I'm Mark Douglas.
We're awaiting an update from Toronto Police this afternoon following the discovery of human remains downtown. This is in connection with their investigation into the disappearance of a woman and a deadly police-involved shooting yesterday near Jarvis and Dundas. Six Cities' Phil Martino tells us one person is already under arrest. Phil.
So, Jenna, yes, this is connected to a police-involved shooting at an apartment building at 291 George Street near Dundas. That's where Toronto police say the remains of a human body have been found. They have not yet been formally identified by 59-year-old Orson York.
This guy, the guy that attacked him at the rooming house.
Human body in connection with the case. Now, police shot and killed a man at the same location early yesterday morning. He's been identified as 45-year-old Ali Getty. Homicide detectives have now taken over the investigation. Phil Martino, 680 News.
We are getting a firmer timeline from the province's vaccine task force about when different age groups can expect to roll up their sleeves. 680's Irene Precklin.
Là, on peut faire le cancel, mais on peut vraiment changer beaucoup de choses parce qu'on a beaucoup de différentes perspectives du monde, parce qu'on est comme vraiment jeune.
Et je finis avec cette dernière jeune, donc Laetitia, qui finalement passe un message d'union. On l'écoute à ce sujet.
On aimerait continuer d'évoluer, les choses changent. J'espère que notre génération nous prendra en compte que toutes les races, qu'ils soient blancs, noirs ou autre chose, sont tous les mêmes.
Voilà.
Oui, mais c'est effectivement assez inspirant. Puis, d'ailleurs, je salue votre effort de vous adresser directement aux jeunes pour voir comment ils pensent. Je pense que souvent, nous, les journalistes, on pense souvent à des spécialistes ou à des gens qui ont des opinions assez tranchées. Et c'est intéressant de voir comment ça résonne dans la population et surtout dans cette nouvelle génération de jeunes en Alberta. Daniel Cadjo, vous êtes journaliste en Alberta. Merci d'avoir été avec nous.
Je vous en prie.
Vous écoutez l'heure de pointe au 860 AM et au 80.
Quebec opening it up to over 85s next week. There's been a growing amount of criticism over why the Ontario portal won't open for another 3 weeks. Premier Ford says it's all about population.
Population of Alberta is a little over 4 million. We're upwards to 15 million, and as simple as that.
However, it is not as simple as that. Both Alberta and Ontario have received roughly the same percentage of doses proportional to population, and both have used about 35% on second shots. Opposition leader Andrea Horvath says this is a matter of preparation.
This government should have been planning for the vaccine rollout months before it started. And because they didn't, and Doug Ford didn't want to spend the money on doing that preparatory work early enough, we're stuck, at the back of the pack.
A little over 600,000 Ontarians have now received at least one dose.
And that's
Reporting
why
live
they
from Alex
call
Bloomfield.
him.
4 Black York Region police officers are sharing their experiences with systemic racism. 680's Moma Qureshi joins us with that.
Each one of the 4 Black officers delivering powerful deputations outlining their personal experiences with racism inside the York Regional Police Force. Constable Stefano Therese says he was bullied, harassed, and discriminated against by superior officers and management.
What happened is stuck in my head forever. It will never go away.
I can say that systemic racism, anti-black discrimination, and racial discrimination are very well present in New York Regional Police.
York Regional Police Chief Jim McSween has had the top job for less than a year, committing to eliminating anti-black racism inside the force.
We won't cease in our efforts to ensure this workplace is free of racism, discrimination, and systemic bias wherever it finds itself.
Outlining a list of initiatives to try to achieve that goal. I'm Corrections. This is 680 News. Police in Los Angeles are updating their investigation into the single vehicle rollover that landed Tiger Woods in hospital. 680's Richard.
Et donc, avec ce thème si beau des enjeux environnementaux, mais si lourd aussi, et j'ai décidé de me lancer dans cette aventure par curiosité et par envie de travailler avec des auteurs et des autrices.
Top sheriff in California who said again, Tiger's probably going to get away without any charges here.
This is what it is, an accident.
The sheriff says Tiger didn't appear stoned or drunk yesterday.
The deputy has seen assessed the condition of Tiger Woods.
What does that mean? That's not what the guy said. That's what you said.
Alcohol, no evidence of any medication, narcotics, or anything like that.
Tiger continues to recover from operations on his legs and ankles in a California hospital. A source close to the golfer telling People magazine that Woods will have some serious decisions to make about his future as he recovers from the crash. Reporting live, Richard Southern, 680 News.
Gas prices are next.
This is 680 News. First, your disability insurance denies your long-term disability claim, and then your employer threatens to fire you if you don't return to work.
Narratif, donc c'est cette parole en prose, au jeu, très assumé. Donc moi, ce qui m'intéressait, c'est d'entendre, non pas du tout, là, on se prend pas pour des scientifiques, pas du tout une parole scientifique sur les crises environnementales, mais ce que ça fait vivre aux gens dans leur quotidien, dans leur intimité.
4878 or on your cell phone at pound LTD.
Now, the 680 News gas price update, and predicting the price will increase a cent at midnight to just under $1.24 a liter. In 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the ones. This is 680 News.
Hiring can be challenging, but ZipRecruiter makes it fast and easy. We talked to Monica Starks, who needed to hire for a pivotal role in her company, GS Group.
As the owner of a construction company, finding the right people is a very difficult task. So I use ZipRecruiter.
ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology identifies the right people for your job and actively invites them to apply, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. Monica did, and that's how she found Lamont, her new project superintendent.
The job is so perfect for me. I had a career breakthrough. I would have never found this job if it wasn't for ZipRecruiter.
With ZipRecruiter, we've hired everyone from accountants to project managers to field scientists. With ZipRecruiter, we get hiring results.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And now you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. That's ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada. ZipRecruiter.ca/Canada.
680 News Time, 3:41.
Traffic and weather together on the one. Here's Carrie Francis.
This report is brought to you by Pfizer Canada. A slow go on the westbound Gardner, delays from the DVP to west of Strawn, and busy on the westbound QEW from Ford Drive to Dorval. You get a break, and then it slows again from Burloak to west of Guelph line. A heavier drive than usual eastbound on the QEW, seeing delays from about 3rd line right through to Ford Drive. Looks good, though, on the eastbound Gardner heading into the downtown core. Northbound Don Valley Parkway, that's heavy from Girard to north of Lawrence. And the northbound 404 is getting busy now from just north of Highway 7 up to 16th Avenue. Westbound on the 401, expect a minor delay approaching the 400 in the collectors. Then it's heavy from the 400 in the Express to Dixon. Also a slow go into Mississauga from west of Huron, Ontario in the Express, and from Mavis in the collectors to approaching Mississauga Road. Eastbound on the 401, volume delays from the 427 to the 400 Express and collectors. Starting to get busy as well from Bayview to Leslie in the collectors, and into the Durham region is busy approaching Westney to east of Salem. Southbound on the 404 Don Valley Parkway, that's slow going from just south of Finch onto the 401 ramps. On city streets in Scarborough, northbound Kennedy, north of Ellesmere, that's reduced to just the right lane. It's for some maintenance work, so a heavy backup northbound Kennedy as you approach Ellesmere. Do you or your child carry an EpiPen? If so, you should know when your device expires. Check the expiry date today and visit your pharmacy to renew. And now with the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai. There was some good sunshine today, helping us get up to that 8 degrees. Now, tonight, in fact, just in a few hours now, through the evening, we've got a cold front bringing very gusty winds, falling temperatures down to -5, wind chill -12. So any wet surfaces untreated will be icy in the morning. We'll get that afternoon sunshine tomorrow, a high of 1. Still a chilly start Friday morning with that wind chill back to -12, but the sun will be out in the afternoon. In fact, Friday will be the sunniest day of this whole week with a high of 2. Tonight down to a low of -5, wind chill -12 by morning. It is currently 7 degrees at Pearson.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute to the Business Center. Here's Richard Southern.
Hey, remember GameStop, Slagena, and that big saga with that stock going bananas the other week? Well, here we go again, maybe. GameStop is up 76% right now. It had just been halted, just resuming trade. This is a move that has happened just in the last 22 minutes. GameStop has surged $20-30 here in the last 22 minutes. We're going to find out if there's any news on it. We're up to $84.11 right now on GameStop, taking flight by more than 84% at present. TSX higher by 170 points. Dow's up 416, and the Canadian dollar 79.85 cents US. This is 680 News.
When it comes to investing, it's time to consider the alternatives. Dynamic Funds sees diversification differently. Ask a financial advisor how and learn more at dynamic.ca/advice.
The question isn't, do you want a new bathroom? The question is, how old is your bathroom? If you maintenance on the rest of your home, why not your bathroom? Every 10 years, your bathroom needs maintenance. If your bathroom is 10 years or older, you run 3 huge risks: water damage, airborne mold, and tens of thousands of dollars in water damage repairs to the lower levels of your home. And when you do nothing about it, your home and your health only gets worse, and repair costs get higher. So do something now. If your bathroom is over 10 years old, call AGM Renovations now for a free water damage and mold assessment. AGM are Canada's highest rated renovators, and if you act fast, they could save you thousands of dollars in unnecessary repairs. Protect your home and your health. Don't wait. For your free assessment, go to agmrenovations.com. agmrenovations.com.
Toronto's news now. This is 680 News.
Partly cloudy and 9 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good afternoon. I'm Slajana Tamunzik.
And I'm James Monroe. Here's what's making news right now.
A woman is in a hospital with life-threatening injuries after an SUV hit a pedestrian near Dufferin and St. Clair. That woman is a nanny who was out with 2 young children at the time. They were treated for minor injuries at the scene and are okay. Toronto police say a 59-year-old man is under arrest in connection with the discovery of human remains downtown. This case is connected to yesterday's deadly police-involved shooting near Jarvis and Dundas. And after sports, COVID-19 variants are starting to spread faster here in Toronto.
Time now for 680 Sports.
From Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here's Alex Xero.
Slajana, the NBA just released their second half schedule, which begins March the 10th and ends May 16th. Of note, Raptors play Kawhi, Serge, and the Clippers May the 4th. Raptors in Miami tonight. Kyle Lowry is probable. That gets going at 8 o'clock. Leafs and Flames rematch at Scotiabank Arena tonight. We have it at 7 o'clock on Sportsnet and Sportsnet 590 The Fan. Michael Hutchinson will start in goal, and Zach Hyman will get back in the lineup. He'll skate on the top line with Marner and Matthews. Montreal Canadiens fired head coach Claude Julien this morning, along with associate coach Kirk Muller. Dominic Ducharme takes over. Meantime, the NHL has postponed tomorrow's game between the Sharks and the Golden Knights. A San Jose player has entered COVID protocol. Well, Rowdy Tellez was asked today what his expectations are for the 2021 Blue Jays.
World Series trophy, man. I think I honestly can sit here and say that's a realistic expectation. We have the bats, we have the pitching, and we have the big one as a camaraderie in the clubhouse.
Meantime, the Jays have decided that Vladimir Guerrero Jr. will mostly play first base this year. Kevin Biggio will get most of the reps at third. And happening now in the UEFA Champions League, it remains 0-0 between Manchester City and Borussia Mönchengladbach. Also scoreless between Real Madrid and Atalanta. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca/590.
At jackpotcity.net, you can do amazing things with just one casino chip. Discover a world of incredible casino games with over 500 high-quality online slot games, including the world-renowned progressive jackpot slot. Play for free at jackpotcity.net and get treated as a VIP 24/7. So visit jackpotcity.net today on your tablet, laptop, or mobile. Jackpot City. 18 plus. Please play responsibly. This is not a gambling website.
Reflections on Although 2020 was a real jerk, it did teach couples about resilience, empathy, and why love is a marathon, not a sprint. There's a light at the end of the tunnel for these marathon-loving couples. A light that shines diamond bright, like a one-of-a-kind engagement ring backed by our famous lifetime Spence guarantee. Call or visit SpenceDiamonds.com to book your virtual appointment with a certified diamond consultant from Spence. See you soon on Zoom. Say yes.
This is 680 News. COVID-19 variants are taking hold here in Toronto. Medical Officer of Health, Dr. Eileen Davila, says there are currently 72 confirmed cases of variants, with hundreds more in the pipeline.
710 cases have screened positive for mutations of interest and are expected to be confirmed as variants of concern. When I delivered that figure on Monday, it was 511.
The reproductive number is currently 1.1, which means that each new case spawns another new case of the virus. And there's been a slight drop in hospitalized COVID-19 patients in Brampton, and the weekly positivity rate for that region is down slightly to 7.4%. Brampton's Mayor Patrick Brown says 7 vaccination centers are ready in Peel region and will be able to vaccinate 20,000 people per day.
The sites are selected. We're just waiting for vaccines. There'll be no local delay in making sure that we can vaccinate those who are most vulnerable in our community as soon.
I tell myself, the garbage that comes out of this kitchen is cleaner than the kitchens that cook up all this garbage.
A day. In 60 seconds, traffic and weather together on the ones. This is 680 News.
Since 1967, Green Park Group has been one of Canada's most trusted builders. Green Park's legacy of consistency, quality, and service has not changed. Whether it's a single-family home or a condominium, Green Park has always understood that attention to detail and exceptional craftsmanship sets them apart.
You ever see more than one family in a condo?
Which can be seen in every community and every condo built. Building all across the GTA. Visit greenparkgroup.ca.
Ciao, I'm Dominic Primucci, and I'm excited to share we now offer plant-based pepperoni. We call it Planteroni. If you're looking for flavor, try one of our delicious plant-based creations. Make it all vegan with our dairy-free cheese and taste the plant-based difference.
680 News Time, 3:51.
Traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Kerry Prenskin.
This report is brought to you by Rudner Law. Watch out for debris in 2 spots on the westbound 403. Westbound 403 approaching the 407 in the left lane. We have reports of plastic debris and a tonneau cover reported on the westbound 403 just past the 407 as you're heading up towards Burnham Thorpe in the left lane again. So drivers been losing some stuff by the sounds of it. MTO crews are on their way to pick up that debris. So again, be careful. Westbound 403 anywhere from approaching the 407 to Burnham Thorpe. Westbound on the 401, that's busy with volume from the 400 in the Express to Dixon, and then slow going from west of here, Ontario in the Express, and from Mavis in the Collectors to approaching Mississauga Road. Eastbound on the 401, delays from the 427 to the 400 Express and Collectors. Bunches up again approaching Bayview to Leslie in the Collectors, and slow going from Brock Road to east of Salem. Southbound 404 Don Valley Parkway, traffic is heavy from south of Finch onto the 401 ramps, but a smooth drive on the southbound DVP. Westbound Gardner already jammed from the DVP to west of Strawn, and delays on the westbound QEW from Ford Drive to Dorval, then again from Bronte to west of Guelph Line. Eastbound on the QEW, that's heavy from 3rd Line to Ford Drive. Looks good though on the eastbound Gardner heading into downtown, and a slow go on the northbound Don Valley Parkway from Girard to north of Lawrence. The northbound 404 is filling in as well from Highway 7 to north of 16th Avenue. On city streets, northbound Kennedy, north of Ellesmere, the left turn lane and the 2 left lanes are closed. This is for some maintenance work, so only the right lane is getting through, and there's a backup northbound Kennedy as you approach Ellesmere. Your employment contracts may not be worth the paper they're printed on. Set up a complimentary review of your contracts with Rudner Law. Visit rudnerlaw.ca. Now with the extended forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
Our temperatures are either seasonal or above. Overnight tonight, we're going to come back to reality because we do have this evening cold front with gusty winds, a couple of spotty showers this evening. Also, if you're through the north and east GTA, some wet flurries overnight tonight, and we're then dropping to -5 with a morning wind chill of -12. It'll be icy out there in the morning. We've got a sunny afternoon, or at least a partly cloudy afternoon, a high of 1 degree. And then Friday, that's going to be our sunniest day of the week with a high of 2. The weekend is going to be mild, but kind of sloppy on Saturday with wet snow. Switching over to a rain-snow mix. If you live along the Lake of Ontario, the shoreline of Lake Ontario, it'll be rain through Saturday afternoon with that high of 6 degrees, drier on Sunday. Tonight down to low -5. It is currently 7 degrees at Pearson.
This extended forecast is brought to you by ELA.ca European Appliances. Save 15% on your kitchen and laundry appliances during our dishwasher and cooking appliance sale. Visit your premium appliance retailer or ELA.ca.
The Princess Margaret Home Lottery is here with an incredible $7 million grand prize featuring the King City Show Home, built by...
Il faut noter aussi quand même que Bell, c'est eux qui ont déposé ce projet-là de branchement. À l'époque, M. Bibic n'était pas le président de l'entreprise, était un vice-président senior. Après ça, il est devenu le chef des opérations. Mais c'est quand même un projet de Bell qui a été subventionné environ aux 2/3. Les chiffres sont globaux, donc on n'a pas un...
Most important task at hand right now.
And he said, listen, we do have a plan here.
And we have a great plan, and we're executing it. And right now, that means focusing on our top priority population.
Well, that didn't fucking work, did it?
Fully vaccinating our long-term care homes, residents, and our retirement homes, vaccinating our frontline healthcare heroes, I call them, and remote communities. That's critical in phase 1. These are the most vulnerable groups. These are who we're focused on in phase 1 of our plan.
General Hilliard, who was on the Evan Solomon show today, who is leading the task force when it comes to vaccinations, talked a little bit about the timeline and what we can expect over the next couple months. And these are, I think, once people have a timeline, you give them hope.
You're such geniuses. Hey, you like how I do that without using the power button?
The two of us are way at the back of the end of this list.
I've been dealing with your dumbasses for a few years on this same fucking game, eh?
And I think this does give us hope for those people.
People who are 75 years and old, at 75 years of age and older to start getting their vaccine. The 1st of May, people who are 70 and older can start getting theirs. The first week in June, people who are 65 and older can get those. And in July, August, and September, people 60 and older or 50 and older. And because that's when the vaccines...
You're all gonna die. Wait for this guy.
And that to me is the money shot right there.
But that said, nobody got hurt, fortunately, because there's 2 other cases in the past years that police went into the houses and something went wrong and 2 people died from these type of calls. So it is a type of prank call that could lead to someone die from it. And this is why it's very mind-boggling why someone would want to call in the police officer, especially the TAC teams, to come in and just to have a laugh about this.
Yeah, when you say 2 people died, I think that was in the States back in 2015, wasn't it?
It is correct. So these are the only 2 cases we know
Texans
about.
are getting sky-high electric bills.
Through the news media, but not. I haven't heard or read that there were other cases beside those 2.
Well, the one you cited in Montreal back in November, Ubisoft, I guess the message from the security people in the building was, barricade yourselves in your rooms. I mean, take your phones off, put them on silent. I mean, there was like a panic had ensued as a result, right?
Yes, and as well as the social media just got swamped also with people trying to figure out, okay, have you heard anything? Are you all right? Some people from the outside trying to figure out if their loved ones inside were okay. So just like the school you mentioned, I had to go in lockdown mode. This is normal procedure. You follow the protocol and just assume everything is true until proven otherwise. That's the way the emergency responders will want you to act and just not take unnecessary risks. So that's why for the case of Ubisoft, everybody went like that. And it was very hard to get some actual information from the inside because they didn't want to alarm if it would have been a real case. Let the perpetrators alarm or let them know how the operation was progressing. So that's why everybody just kept silent until the clear was given and everybody came out correct.
Again, Steve Waterhouse, cybersecurity expert based in Montreal. So what is the reason behind this?
I was going to say, that's the Quebecois accent right there.
They want to distract somebody here purposefully. Any idea what was behind it?
Well, my theory was, but it still hasn't been proven, is the fact that maybe someone got fired from, let's say, Ubisoft, and he was in a disgruntled mode and just wanted to make the company know that any reasons that someone has a grievance against an organization or someone could use this way of doing mischief. So it could be that way. It could be from an international competitor that had something to put the Ubisoft development on the back burner or something like that. So again, it's just a tool.
Then it turned out to be their CEO was like a psychopath or something, because I'm not getting much information on this. All I know is there's 150 parking spots over there reserved for Ubisoft.
And you're
nobody
saying,
parks
it
there.
can't be tracked as a cybersecurity expert. Do you believe
Of course, for about 6 months or so, or a year. I'm not quite sure.
Have a way of even triangulating, you know, with
they set aside every parking spot in these 2 or 3 parking lots.
Well, yes, of course.
And nobody parks there. Nobody goes to work there.
Okay to figure out, okay,
General Electric's just cashing in the money.
Located, and then they'll be able to figure it out within a few meters of precision. But let's say with today's technology, you can call from halfway across the world with the virtual private network technology that will mask your originating point from a certain call, and you can piggyback that call through a few points. And that brings me to
the only reason every country has its own top-level domain and IP address range, because when the U.S. Army came up with this idea, they just said, well, let's give each country their own. It's all arbitrary. It's all arbitrary.
It was set up by a hacker somewhere in the States, and the kid was proven guilty that he swatted a few people outside of Ottawa, and by such somebody pinned, and this was his father. Version, trying to pin the reason of the phone call back to his location in Ottawa while it was originating from somewhere in the States. So going back to the essential, yes, it is possible to project the phone number that is coming from somewhere elsewhere, and at the same time, it is possible not to trace anytime soon the number where it is originating from. So that's very, on the technical side, it's very difficult, and I'm not certain.
And it's because they split up Mom Bell. Your phone company isn't allowed to tell my phone company who the fuck you are. And when I make a phone call, if I go do into the microphone and it makes the numbers pop up on your screen, that's your fault.
Thank you, Steve.
The call display is in between the first ring and the second ring. There's a little, there's a chirp of information. And it's sent.
Time for a check on the drive.
From the point of view of this phone here, it's sent from my phone company, the central office. But that phone company could be getting the information from anywhere, one of their own internal directories, or as the call comes in from somewhere else. So if the call is coming from somewhere in the U.S., 3 phone companies away or whatever, they have no fucking way to know if it's the real numbers. They call it spoofing. But it's no different than way back in the day. You call somebody up. Who may I ask is calling? It's Bob Smith. She doesn't know I'm not Bob Smith. Well, neither does the phone company.
Still unfolding at a downtown apartment building. Police say an investigation into the whereabouts of a missing woman has led them to the discovery of human remains. Now, this is in connection to a story we first told you about yesterday. Police attended 291 George Street early yesterday morning in relation to the missing woman investigation. After they arrived, they found
maps on a split screen.
The person had died under suspicious circumstances. They didn't find a body, but police are announcing today that they have now discovered human remains. It's not clear where those remains were located, and they haven't been formally identified. Now, an arrest has been made, and a 59-year-old
they haven't formally identified. Have they been specifically identified as human remains yet? Like, was Buddy cutting up a steak or some shit? Buddy cutting up a steak or some shit?
Died after a police-involved shooting. The confrontation happened when officers were inquiring about the missing woman. This is a new development to a story we brought you this afternoon. That terrible crash that seriously injured a woman and hurt 2 young children in the area of St. Clair, west of Dufferin, could have been so much worse. Police telling our media partner CP24 that this woman, the children's caretaker, threw herself in harm's way just to make sure the children were all right.
She's possibly pushed this stroller out of the way of the vehicle. When officers arrived on scene, the stroller was actually partially pinned between the vehicle and the wall.
And the woman was actually pinned by the vehicle before emergency officials
56% des points, c'est la quasi-totalité un mois plus tard. La question qui a lourdement pesé sur le compte de la SNCF annonce une perte nette de 3 milliards d'euros l'an dernier. Un tiers dans l'économie domestique a permis de compenser en partie l'hémorragie de voyageurs provoquée par la pandémie.
No new update on her condition. A horrifying
So
story of
when I was
Hamilton.
really
Investigators in the city's north end are looking into a report that a baby was buried in a home. So far, we don't have any verification of this report. Police believe they'll be at the scene for a few days to try and figure out if this is legitimate. 2 people have been arrested, but no information on what their charges are.
That is so odd.
Mayor John Tory sadly continues his reputation of bearer of bad news, canceling all city-run events until and including Canada Day.
You know, say it's odd for most places. Here in Toronto, every so often we find an 85-year-old fetus fucking in a wall of a house. No idea who lived there when it was buried there. They can't even nail down precisely what year it happened. Queen of Broadview. Queen of fucking Broadview. What's the name of that street? I'll fucking look it up right now.
Ce qui entraîne une pénurie d'enseignants. Dans son dernier bilan, la santé publique rapportait 40.
Related to this missing person homicide investigation. As part of their investigation, they have multiple active scenes where officers are carrying out inquiries. Phil Martino, 680 News.
Nanny has suffered critical injuries after being struck by a car near Dufferin and St. Clair earlier today. 680's Mark Douglas is at the scene and tells us 2 children were hurt as well. People in the area are credited with helping out. Mark.
That's right, James. A nanny in her 30s was crushed
Commercial
against the
Road,
storefront window this
Eglinton
morning
and Bayview.
when an
Okay, we are a
SUV
little
bounced
far
the
off
curb
the
in
map I was
reverse
looking for.
here on St. Clair Avenue West at Boone Avenue. Toronto police say while the nanny suffered life-threatening injuries, she's also a hero for pushing the stroller with the 2 kids in her care out of the way at the last second. They suffered only minor injuries, and Duty Inspector Michael Williams says the nanny was not the only hero today. A couple dozen ordinary citizens
Kintyre.
Excellent to see so many people helping.
120-year-old house, 80-year-old baby remains.
Katrina says she and her fiance had just parked on St. Clair outside his dentist's office. They saw the crash happen, and the dentist, Dr. Gary Klein, also ran out to help.
We had gone in and told them that there was an accident.
Gary Stein? Yes, it is. Did you help rescue a woman today? Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, you're too modest.
For running out and helping.
Well, listen, that's very kind. I did a very small part, the best I could do under the circumstances.
The kids in the stroller are 2 and 5 years old. Again, they suffered only minor injuries. The 82-year-old driver of that SUV, he was not hurt. The cause of the collision still under investigation. Traffic on St. Clair is back to normal. Reporting live on St. Clair.
Happening now on social media. Here we go again. Several so-called stonks, including GameStop, blasting off in today's trading session. 680's Richard Sellers following that first for the latest. Richard.
Yeah, it's the stonks again. GameStop just out of nowhere at about, 20 after 3 just went straight up. It was halted into the close. GameStop closed higher by 103% to $91.70. Remember, this is the stock that a couple of weeks ago caught all the attention of those Reddit traders, went to the moon. It came back down to earth. Hadn't heard a whole lot about it until today. Why the big surge? Well, sources familiar with the matter telling Business Insider that the chief financial officer that departed GameStop yesterday didn't do so willingly. There is some speculation that Ryan Cohen, a board member of GameStop, may, and I stress may, be putting together some sort of bid perhaps to buy the company. We're not sure, but GameStop rocketing up 100% today.
Juste des détails sur son plan de vaccination contre la COVID.
Continues to sink. And watch you all out there in the lifeboats and hope that my lifeboat comes.
Watching someone to trigger around, I think. Yeah, it's not like you're going to go on Costanza at that kid's birthday party.
I don't understand what that means. I make references about a show. It's like, what's that, 40 years old now?
It's one of the top 5 most watched shows in the world still.
Seinfeld.
Yes.
I can't accommodate for people's tastes.
Yeah, everybody should be required to watch Seinfeld, Martin, and In Living Color.
But yeah, a lot of people are starting to.
Here we go, hour 2 already. Hey, a great day for talk radio. You know, at this time yesterday, not a great day. It was for talk radio, but nonetheless,
Some public health units will have mass vaccination sites, but some shots will also be given at pharmacies. I'm Irene.
Sure they will. The pharmacies don't know nothing about that. Really, don't call us.
Under fire today.
Every drug you want, but that one don't exist yet, sir.
If you ask him, everything is fine. 680's Alex Bloomfield joins us live with that angle. Alex.
Yes, Legana seniors over 75 in Alberta can book a vaccine time slot today. Quebecers over 85 tomorrow, but nothing for another 3 weeks in Ontario. Premier Ford says it comes down to population.
Merci Olivier, au revoir.
À demain. Météo, ce sera nuageux avec probabilité d'averse de pluie ou de neige, dépendamment de quel secteur de la province vous venez. Un minimum de -3 cette nuit pour Toronto, un minimum de -3 aussi pour Hamilton. Barrie, c'est -6 où il y a, vous imaginez, un peu plus de probabilité d'averse de neige dans ce secteur. Pour London, ce sera -4 durant la nuit. Et pour Sarnia-Windsor, -6 et -6 degrés, ce qui est étonnant parce qu'en ce moment, à Sarnia et à Windsor, les températures sont très confortables, autour de 10 et 11 degrés. Donc, c'est dans les deux chiffres en ce moment dans ce secteur de la province. Pour la péninsule du Niagara, cette nuit, ce sera -1.
I've seen it before.
Yeah,
movies. I mean, I'm saying I can't deal with movies either. Yeah, I can. I'm trying to, but I do want to rewatch because I watched it over the course of a couple.
Very long rehab, road to recovery. This is still does not ignore that we are halfway through a recovery period of his latest back surgery when this occurred, which doesn't erase.
Bien certainement.
And if there's one dealership ready.
Control. This devil deal is bound to take my soul. It's like you got it in.
And bring on winter safely at your nearest Subaru dealer.
That just means I've been overexposed to Western media.
Now,
That's
680 News gas price update, and it's going to rise another cent.
Did you just start banging his head to that? Yeah, for a second.
Helping each other.
Just for a second.
Oh, here, let me grab that for you.
Thank you. As I was saying, Canadians.
That was an air horn or something.
The kidney car. That's exactly what you're doing. I turned away
That right now.
Well, certainly that would be the priority, you know, as a father of 2 kids. You know, the thing, and we can almost get down into the weeds on this because he's a righty. You know, he shoots right. And it was his right leg that was apparently most severely damaged here. Broken ankle, the pins, as you say, the screws, the rod inserted between, I guess, the tibula and the fibula, which are the 2 main bones there to give them some kind of stability.
You guess.
And the muscle cut. That's really an anchor leg. And it's really critical to the golf swing, especially, you know, for somebody with the torque of Tiger Woods.
You heard that, right? That's really an anchor leg. He's got more than 2 legs. No, he must. He must. The way they're talking about this car. Think about it. Think about it. That's really an anchor leg. His other 6 legs can move around and stuff.
Modern day golf swing.
I've got coffee. I didn't move to the marijuana yet because I'm still got coffee and nicotine running through.
Down to Avenue Express, then west to the 427 in the Express. We have a stalled
So I'm
vehicle.
thinking if I tape something like this to the TV, I could clip. The one thing I can't show you is the back of the camera unless I use a mirror, right? But I could clip the camera to this instead of just resting it on top of the TV. And I don't know for sure if that'll make this experience any better or not. I'm going to try it. I'm going to figure out how to tape it on here.
From Baby to Leslie, and then the Durham region closed down from Brock Road to east to Salem. If you're taking the westbound
I don't like wasting electrical tape because it's vinyl.
Going from approaching Jarvis to west to Strong, and then once you hop onto the West QE, it's busy from approaching Ford Drive to west to Guelph Line. Those are on and off delays though. Eastbound QEW Gardner combo moving much better, just a small delay from Dorval to Ford Drive.
I feel like you've been called to a meeting, some sort of meeting, and like you're standing there, and everybody's talking like you're talking about what you're there for, but they're not. You're just waiting for them to get to the point. That's what I feel right now.
Available on the App Store and Google Play.
What happened to the Blackrock Regional Police? I've heard from 2 of them so far.
Yeah, that was a nice day to sit outside, especially in the morning when we got that sunshine. Now we're clouding over. We'll get a couple of evening showers, and this is a cold front that will come through. It's going to be windy as well when it passes through around between 7 and 8 p.m. tonight. Gusty winds out of the northwest, and then by the morning, waking up to -5, wind chill -12. Icy conditions because of these falling temperatures, and even a few flurries of light dusting across the north and east GTA. It'll be sunny by the afternoon, though, with a high of 1. Cold start Friday morning with that wind chill back to -12. But it's going to be a sunny day pretty much all day long and a high of 2. Tonight down to a low of -5 degrees. It is currently 7 degrees at Pearson.
Now the dynamic funds market minutes. More excitement, Richie.
My.
So it's interesting to me. All these people now, everybody has to practice no cross-contaminating, hazard analysis, and critical control points and all this shit, which they're not doing specifically, but they should be. Don't touch your T-zone. If you touch the doorknob and then touch the garbage and then touch the food, you just fucked it up. And everybody for the last year has been like just breaking the rules a little bit when nobody's watching. But if you're immunocompromised, it doesn't matter. The virus is always watching. There is no getting away with it once or twice. All these people judge me about how I live. I figure it out. It's not so easy.
Up 154 points to 18,484.
Magic Johnson will outlive me. I'm fairly certain of it.
We're all rethinking risk.
Either that or I'll be the oldest motherfucker with sickle cell in the
Financial
world.
advisor can help you build a resilient portfolio. Learn more at dynamic.ca/advice.
Maybe I should do the reverse of Michael Jackson and make my skin darker. Although, I can already see the dark patches on my lips. That's not making sense because they're talking madness to me here. They are talking pure madness. We have English here somewhere, don't we? No, that's not a button. There's a button that doesn't do anything.
That theft is still taking place. Greg Myrie, NPR News, Washington. A massive American healthcare provider named One Medical has been letting people jump the line for COVID-19 vaccines, according to internal communications leaked to NPR.
They shouldn't be allowed to do that.
Primary healthcare provider that promises concierge services for an annual fee. This is a growing segment of the U.S. healthcare system. The company went public last year and is now valued in the billions of dollars. It denies it knowingly vaccinated ineligible patients, but internal messages obtained by NPR investigative correspondent Tim Matt tell a different story, and Tim is with us now. Hi there.
You can pay me with.
Hey there. Tell us what these messages say.
So these documents show example after example of doctors and medical providers in several states raising the alarm about One Medical's practices. Now, to break it down, there are 2 categories of wrongdoing here. First, friends and family of One Medical leadership were given appointments for the vaccine even though they weren't eligible. The second category involves patients. The internal documents show that in January, the company did not properly screen out ineligible patients, giving disqualified people a loophole to get vaccinated. Since our story
we're not talking 1 or 2 out of a few thousand, are we?
Numerous messages from members of the public
going to be
no patients who were apparently improperly
You're supposed to err on the side of
So
the
as
patient.
doctors were raising these alarms, how did company management at One Medical respond?
Well, these internal communications indicate that they responded with a shrug. The medical professionals inside the company expressed concern as they came across patients that apparently shouldn't have been vaccinated getting vaccinated. And they tried to come up with ways, for example, to cancel appointments for ineligible patients. But they were told by a senior company leader,
yesterday, I'm not sure, but it might
"We are
not be
not
technically part of this.
This story has gotten a lot of attention over the course of the day. What's One Medical saying?
Well, they're saying that they had not knowingly vaccinated patients who were disqualified from receiving the vaccine, that it took this issue seriously,
3.15,
and that it had fired
No, I say holy shit because I didn't realize that was half the weight of the bag.
They also blamed the, quote, fog of war during this public health crisis.
And what about regulators who are in charge of vaccine distribution? Are they saying anything?
Yeah, well, they have taken notice, and multiple jurisdictions
Plus I got the seed in there. The seed is worth a couple thousand
complaints
pounds.
about One Medical.
It's a metric
Washington
kiloton.
State's Department of Public Health, for example, said they halted vaccine allocations to the company after a complaint about ineligible vaccinations. One county in California said they would not give more doses to One Medical after One Medical expressed a plan to vaccinate ineligible populations. And Los Angeles County
said they had warned the company numerous times about this issue by phone and email.
Really?
Let's have your investigative
Remember,
correspondent.
California
Tim Matt, thank you for your
ratepayers is who
reporting.
came out with onboard diagnostics being mandatory. So in the 80s and 90s, it was normal. Even in the 2000s, it was normal to see California model shown or whatever. Because it had to be slightly differently. This is the Toronto coming out. And now you got, I think it's, we had OBD4, OBD3, OBD4. I'm not sure what we're on now, 5 or 6. Which brings us to Blue Tech engines. No, sorry, not Blue Tech. Although they are one of the engines that does this. The diesel exhaust fluid engines that won't run without DEF, diesel exhaust fluid, even though there's nothing wrong with the engine. Yeah, like if you run out of fluid, you can't drive to the gas station to get some. And that's what these, you'll notice on the newer dump trucks, there's two things. The lift axle is now a steer axle. The second axle, it turns. And there's extra tanks on the bottom of that truck to fill up with diesel exhaust fluid. And then some vehicles, apparently, you have to fill it with a disposable jerry can. So there's a clear bottle and a cardboard box and a tube and all this other crap. Every time you fill your tank, you're throwing out this big piece of garbage that can't be either recycled or composted. You could burn it, but that goes completely against the idea of reducing emissions. You could burn it because it's plastic and paper and oil, I guess. And all it says on this thing, it doesn't tell you what's in it, but it tells you that it's a serious irritant to the skin and stuff. Look up petrochemical industry of the worst toxins they have, and it'll say, oh, may cause mild irritation. And that'll be the whole MSDS sheet. Bullshit.
Good for dependable earnings. About a quarter describe it as poor, and 43% say they're just okay. The survey was conducted last October, and it was released after Uber Eats couriers complained a change in the company's pay system resulted in their average earnings sliding from as much as $10 a trip before tips to as low as $3.99 during the pandemic.
$4. Almost $4. Yeah, almost $4. That's right. That's right. If it's that low, you fucking better count the pennies.
I'm so over this. I don't even know anyone.
$14.99 an hour would be $15. $3.99 an hour is not $4 an hour. That's $3 an hour. That's right. That's right. There's real people. That's proletariat math.
Tournament is part of the sport. And then and then there's part of me that also probably believes that I don't think Tiger would accept that. Knowing what I know about Tiger and watching him, I mean, this is the most fierce competitor golf has ever seen, and certainly one could make the argument that he is right up there in the world of sports in general.
No, I thought the
right
Mohawk.
up there with the Michael Jordan.
I think it's Quinty Bay or whatever, and Dudley George were the fiercest competitors golf has ever seen.
Going toe to toe, and anything else is just not.
Remember, we're not in the OPP's purview. They sent 2,500 Canadian forces to Afghanistan and Iraq. They sent 4,500 to Oka. That's how scared they are of us.
Senior championship, something along those lines.
And we all, my generation, we all saw that on TV. Of course, I'm gonna stick my face in your face. You see how scared the CF member looks? Because it's all white boys at that point. Any black people, Asians, Indians were constantly being booted out of the army for no reason.
That's very.
That was quite a few years ago.
My mind on that. That's a great question.
Who makes up the army now? We're 60% of the military assets. I'll fill it in for you. It's Nova Scotia.
I don't know. We don't know physically if he's able to be in it.
Who's the Canadian Rangers made up of? How did they do their oaths over the telephone? Who do they answer to? The Governor General. Who does she answer to? The Queen. Where the fuck does your politics come into this? Your provincial, even your federal politics is
on the Tuesday night.
So it's actually completely illegal for the province or the city to go, we have to get all these natives and all these black people and do this and that, did it. No, we have to get over there at vaccine hesitancy. No, it's completely illegal for you to come up with a plan like that. You have to go to the federal government and tell them what you think, and it's up to them to decide how to interact with us.
It's not up to you. It's not up to any mayor or public health official. And since we're a separate nation, none of your fucking rules apply to us. Not one.
We'll see when we get to that point. But Mark, always good to talk to you about golf. Not too long.
You have the equivalent of HKSAR, Hong Kong Special Administrative Region passports on our land, not the other way around. Why don't you call up the British consulate and ask them if you can move back to the UK? Then they're going to tell you, go fuck yourself.
That question, though, I'm kind of curious. Would you rather see a diminished Tiger on the tour, still competing if he can, or do you think?
Going to be a mild today and windy at 6 degrees. Tonight down to a low of -5. It is currently 7 degrees at Pearson.
Coming up at the bottom of the hour, breaking news from Toronto police. They say their search for a missing woman has led them to the discovery of human remains, perhaps more than one crime scene. This is all connected to a police-involved shooting in an apartment building downtown yesterday that left a 45-year-old man dead. And the city has canceled all outdoor events and parades until at least July 1st, and that includes Canada Day and the Pride Parade. Start your weekdays with Morning Live on CHCH.
Good morning, I'm Annette Hom. Here's what we're working on.
Stream or tune in at 6 a.m. for updates on the latest from your region with weekly briefs from health professionals and local officials.
Our Meet the Mayor series continues.
Weather and traffic for those heading out the door.
Here's the radar we're looking at. Non-essential traffic, just stay home.
Plus, freshly squeezed fun to kickstart your day. Morning Live, waking you up with information and inspiration for 20 years. Weekdays at 6 a.m. on CHCH.
As we continue to live through the pandemic,
Listen 3, 4, 5 times a day.
for the latest on the vaccine and what's happening with schools, healthcare, and the economy.
We're here for you.
On your radio, online.
And on your smart speaker.
This is 680 News.
This portion of the news brought to you by Search Kings. Hamilton police have arrested 2 people in connection with an unconfirmed report that a baby's body was buried at a downtown house.
A male 34 and a female 24 from Hamilton have been arrested in relation to this investigation. They will be seen at the Johnson Pinkham Courthouse this afternoon, and the specifics of their charges are still pending.
Police were called to the home on Wellington Street North bring it into 96. A member of the community came forward with the information. Investigators now trying to determine the accuracy of the report. GameStop back in the news. Business Act 680 News Time 425.
5-star Google reviews are the best reviews any company.
We took care of Roxanne. Let us take care of yours today.
Now servicing Burlington and Milton. Visit TurcoPersian.com.
Turco Persian Rug Company. Hey, does he get to do the Weird Al? Weird Al? I don't know why this is on the French station.
By the way, please don't strike my account, bastards. I know what they do, they just take the whole video offline. Fuck, that means I'm going to have to check for notifications or something. Fuck.
Malheureusement, on n'a pas pu vous parler. Donc là, je vous donne l'avant-plan avec
hey, in Congo, they listen to Vanilla Ice.
Claude Julien et son adjoint Kurt Muller ont été congédiés par le Canadien.
Effectivement, c'est ce qu'a annoncé le directeur général Marc Bergevin de cette équipe ce matin dans un communiqué. Rappelons que Claude Julien est un franco-ontarien, il a 60 ans et il a remporté déjà la Coupe Stanley avec les Bruins de Boston, c'était en 2011. Et il a aussi reçu le trophée Jack Adams qui est remis chaque année à l'entraîneur de l'année dans la Ligue nationale de hockey.
The Bigger Spin Scratch Ticket is great at home.
Big Spin!
Maybe you work in a performance-based industry whereby if you perform to a certain level, you make extra money. Or maybe Liam,
all sorts of speculation about what exactly that could mean. There's been, as there has been for a while, a lot of chatter about this on the Wall Street Bets subreddit. So We're going to continue to follow it. Again, we got GameStop trading at $114 right now. Great day for the broader markets. The Dow closed at a record of 424 points. 31,961 on the Dow. S&P up 1.1%. That NASDAQ was up 132 points. The TSX was up 154 to 18,484. Really leading the way today, travel-related stocks, with investors again looking at the so-called opening up trade, with the economy starting to open up more as vaccines get into people's arms. So we had names like Air Canada moving higher. Air Canada up 4.5% at $26.34. Just crossing the wire here at the Business Center is NVIDIA, the graphics chip maker, in with better than expected earnings, taking NVIDIA stock up almost 2% in the extended trade. It's hitting $590 right now. Bitcoin moving on up. It trades at 48,400. Canadian dollar higher again, up to 79.89 cents US.
Did I inadvertently miss the other two clocks?
Away, right here on 680 News.
You have to love NorthTorontoAuction.com. It's a 2-day online-only auction event. Friday at noon, recreational vehicles, small equipment, and non-runners. Then Saturday at 9 a.m., 300 ex-government and pre-owned vehicles, plus municipal equipment. Buying a vehicle on...
On abordera des sujets comme la conception de sites web, l'optimisation des moteurs de recherche, la publicité en ligne, les réseaux sociaux, le marketing par email, les blogs, les infolettes et beaucoup d'autres sujets également. Soyez à l'écoute le lundi, mercredi et vendredi durant notre émission Midi Show. Politique américaine, Vincent Gosselin. Et on est de retour sur le 22 avec notre spécialiste de la politique américaine pour faire le bilan de la semaine et de l'actualité écoulée, avec tout d'abord
All Things Considered from NPR News. I'm Mary Louise Kelly.
And I'm Ari Shapiro. Coming up on Travel to Mars, scientists think one day we might on a nuclear-powered rocket.
How fast can you get there? How long do you
Diddler works at 11 Division.
How quickly and how reliably
you want me to keep going, stupid? You want to fuck off?
Nuclear-powered rocket to the Red Planet. First, the news.
Live from NPR News, I'm Dwayne Brown. The Biden administration plans to distribute millions of face masks to Americans in communities devastated by the coronavirus pandemic, aiming to reach
California
underserved
state prisons already had no
and those
bandanas. Why
bearing
can't
the
you do
brunt of
that?
the
Who
outbreak.
makes those?
Masks will be distributed through a network of community health centers as well as food banks across the country.
These are
Keep it up, Officer Obvious. Detective Diddler works at 11 Division.
by the pandemic.
Detective Diddler, the child pornography, wiretap abusing, everything else he's doing, crooked, waving his gun around, robbing people, all that shit. He works at 11 Division. So fuck
White House
off.
COVID response coordinator Jeff Zients.
The more I mention you, get mad. Well, you got mad when I didn't mention you. You kept at this for 5-10 fucking minutes straight. Now I'm mentioning you. You're getting even more mad. Every time I look towards the keyboard, fucking the whole screen
A federal
flips out.
judge in Texas has further blocked an attempt by the Biden
That's
administration
8 fucking
to roll
times
back
in a row. I've
hardline
touched the
immigration
keyboard and you
enforcement
flip the fuck
initiated
up. You
under
can't even tell for sure I'm
President
touching it.
As NPR's
I
John
didn't
Burnett
actually.
tells
About
us, the
4 times I
temporary
did, 4
injunction
times I did.
prevents the White House from pushing deportations.
Detective Diddler. Yeah, there we go. Keep it up, Detective Diddler.
The injunction shelves an executive order issued by Biden on Inauguration Day that called for a 100-day pause in deportations of unauthorized migrants who commit
Diddler, why are you getting mad?
crimes.
Why does he keep calling you a diddler, bro? Because he is.
On its face, the executive order allows ICE agents to continue to arrest and deport any migrant who is in the country illegally. But
No, you're going to keep it up, man.
sweeping new guidelines that will narrow
just kind of slowly load up every port on my system. Crash it all at once, right?
National security. The order leaves in place additional parts of Biden's January 20 memo that seek to dismantle other Trump-era immigration measures. John Burnett, NPR News.
Remember I said about evenings and weekends and some of the government hours?
NPR
This guy's been going off since about 4:25
A
p.m. He's been going
Pakistani
off
army
on my
official
system.
says they killed a militant suspected in the deaths of 4 female aid workers in a border area. That shooting raised concerns of renewed military violence, or rather militant violence, as NPR's Dia Hadid reports from Islamabad.
The women were shot on Monday near a remote village in an area called North Waziristan. It borders Afghanistan. Now a military official who spoke on condition of anonymity tells NPR that the suspected killer may have belonged to a franchise of the Pakistani Taliban. That's an offshoot of the militant group in Afghanistan. It's heightened concerns that militants are regrouping along parts of that border. The Pakistani Taliban terrorized the country for years, conducting suicide attacks and even seizing territory. They were largely quelled by 2018 after a series of military operations.
These guys doing the same thing we did.
NPR News,
Islamabad. Break us up and break us
The
up.
nation's second largest home improvement chain, Lowe's, reports its fourth quarter profits almost doubled from a year ago as folks put more money into
2006,
their
2007, they're
homes
flipping.
during the
Oh,
pandemic.
keep it up,
Lowe's
Detective
extended
Diddler.
its strong
Keep it up,
sales
Detective
streak through
Diddler.
the holiday
Keep it up,
season,
Detective
beating
Diddler.
Wall Street
Hey,
expectations
you
as
pointed your gun at
sales
me and I
rose
didn't
more than
flinch.
25% from a year ago.
Well, that's like the third
Rival
time in a
Home
fucking
Depot
year that's
reported
happened.
similar
Not
earnings
that, well,
results
twice it was.
during the same
But
period.
the point is,
Stocks finished
Detective
higher on
Diddler,
Wall Street.
why are
as
you
gains
so
for
obsessed with
banks
me
offset
talking
losses
about
in
you?
big
You
tech
do everything you
companies
can to
today.
get
The
my
Dow
attention. I
was
ignore
up
you.
more than
As soon as I start mentioning you, you get more mad.
This is NPR.
I'm supposed to go, oh, the good white man, the good white man. Please stop interfering with my system. You're not letting me finish. You're not letting me finish. I'm not white. I'm never going to phrase things the way you do, dumbass. I'm also not a Canadian citizen, nor am I white. 4 nationalities, bro. You can't count that high, can you? There's nowhere in the world you can go where I can't just walk in, bro. There's nowhere in the world you can run to where I can't just walk there, bro. Were you not listening last night about Norway, NATO founding member? You're a retard, bro. Did your buddy pull you away from the keyboard? Is that why everything's chilling out, you fucking retard? You think you're smart because you can terrorize small children. And you think they don't tell anybody, but they do. So you think you've intimidated them and you haven't.
Working to
Keep it up,
solve social and
Detective Diddler. Keep it up,
environmental
Detective
problems
Diddler.
to
Keep it up,
improve
Detective
lives
Diddler.
today and
Hey, you
benefit
bothered me
future
for 5 minutes, I'm
generations.
going to talk about you for
More
10,
information
dumbass.
at Walton.
As far as the world's concerned, you're...
To experience a premium lifestyle tailored to you.
You are Officer Obvious Lee A. Diddler. You know you are.
Together. Find out
You want me to say your name? Here's the problem. None of you have names. You're the equivalent to me of slaves.
So my house
I don't fucking remember. Oh, you get mad. You get mad.
622
You get
bricks,
mad. You
4,110
don't
wooden
have
slats, and
names.
21, oops, 20.
You're
ice
all
floors hanging
veterans
from
and
the
you're
roof.
all
I think
officers,
I
so your
just about
military
counted
knockoff structure is bullshit.
Enjoy
If you're
tons
all
of
veterans and
on-demand
you're all
movies and
officers,
shows.
none of you is a veteran
Switch to
and
the
none of you is an
Stuck at Home
officer.
bundle, including 5 TV and 5 internet
Why you getting mad, Detective
now
Diddler?
for just $119.90 per month. Call 310
I don't
to check
remember your fucking
availability.
dumbass
Val,
name. I just have to
staying
point you out of a
home just
fucking
got
picture
better.
book on Facebook, dumbass.
Living with joint pain and stiffness can be unbearable. Genical Pain Relief is a natural and lasting solution to reduce joint pain and inflammation
So we've
in
now
less than
entered
5 days.
We've now entered the part of the video where I just waste time for as many hours as possible till Diddler shuts off the fucking transmitter and everything here.
It's already expected to.
How many
To well over
wasting your time on this,
100.
bro?
And these are people who couldn't power medical equipment, people who froze to death in their homes or in their cars.
How many
Most people without
time on
housing
this,
who
bro?
froze to death
This weird up and
outdoors,
down shit you're doing.
experiencing the worst of the conditions.
Wow, so in the face of that staggering death toll, the hearings begin tomorrow, and the actions of ERCOT, the body that manages the Texas grid, are likely to be front and center. What do you expect to come up?
There's going to be a lot, but one key question: why wasn't the power grid ready? But ERCOT, which again is at the center of all this, doesn't actually own the physical infrastructure that provides power. Rather,
The grid was ready. Every time they turned off something, it turned off, didn't it?
Here's Peter Crampton, now former
You know how
member
hard
of
it is to
ERCOT's
turn off
board.
a power grid?
He spoke at his final board meeting earlier today.
Try it. When you're sitting, turn off the power grid. Try
They
it.
had not one but two engines experience catastrophic failure. They flew the damaged plane for 103 hours before safely landing in the Hudson. In my mind, the men and women in the ERCOT control room were heroes.
So in this analogy, those engines that blew up could be power generating units owned by public and private power companies, not ERCOT. Again, ERCOT's role was to do an emergency landing, to order a so-called series of controlled blackouts, so that an even worse crash when it happened, like the entire grid going offline, which according to ERCOT could take weeks or months to repair.
So if ERCOT is likely to argue that they were just doing the best they could with a bad situation, are there other places lawmakers might look to hold people accountable?
Absolutely. First, there's the Public Utility Commission of Texas. It oversees ERCOT and has a 3-member board appointed by Governor Greg Abbott. Second, there's the Railroad Commission, which actually oversees the natural gas sector, not railroads. And the natural gas sector failed to provide enough power during this crisis. Those two agencies, the Public Utility Commission and the Railroad Commission, have regulatory power. ERCOT does not. And of course, there is the state legislature itself, which actually makes the laws that these agencies are supposed to enforce. One proposal mandates that all plants weatherize against cold weather, and there's a debate around that.
Piece of shit,
Who pays for the
fucking
weatherization?
impulsive,
Taxpayers
fucking
or the
garbage,
companies?
fucking waste, man.
And finally, people are already resigning. Tell us about why.
Or the last 8 things I said about
So
Texas.
Peter
I'm like,
Crampton,
he's getting
along with a
mad.
few other board
Is that what
members,
you're mad about?
resigned after taking heat that
We
they
threatened
didn't
them
live in the
to
state.
get off the
Now, did them
land.
living out of the state
We
cause these
shot at them,
blackouts?
and they left.
No, but
Hey, the
Governor Greg
RCMP
Abbott
is
was quick to
federal.
welcome the news.
They're an actual
In the short
paramilitary
term,
police
ERCOT
force
officials
of
will face
Canada, of
hearings
the
in the state
government.
legislature
You
tomorrow, and
are
there
an
will be tough
employee.
questions for them. But again,
You
ultimately, there are
are an
other
employee
bodies that hold most
of
of
a
the powers
service
to
which
actually
is not
mandate changes
incorporated
after
but
all of
happens
this.
to be a subcontractor to
That
a
is Dominic
corporation that
Anthony
exists
Walsh
at
of
the
Texas
whim
Public
of
Radio.
the
Thanks a lot.
province, which
Thanks so much
exists
for
at
having
the
me.
whim of the feds.
On Mars,
You're
NASA's
nobody,
Perseverance
pussy.
rover is
You're
settling
nobody.
in
Hey,
after
your
landing
budget's
last week. The
1.2
space
billion,
agency
and
also
we're
hopes one day
2.4
to
billion
send
dollars over
people
budget.
to the
What do
red
you
planet.
think the
But
odds
getting there
are
will be
your
tough.
service won't
NPR's
get
Jeff
canceled
Rumpel reports
like
that
the
some
ones all over
experts
the
say the
U.S.
best way
right
to
now?
do it might be with
Pussy.
a
So why are you so
nuclear
mad?
power
Why are you making a fucking point of
Sending
fighting
people
with
to
me
Mars
over
and
it, over
back
and fucking
again is
over?
a
I didn't sign
huge
the fucking
undertaking.
budget,
There are
stupid.
many factors that need to be considered, including
According to your
such things as
dumbasses,
how fast can you get there? How long do you have to stay?
your taxes
How
pay
quickly
for
and how
my
reliably
check
can
or
you
some
get
shit
back?
like that.
Roger
What
Myers is a
check is
private
that, bro?
consultant who used to work
Look,
for
my
NASA.
trust funds are all
Those
still sitting
questions,
there
he
with no
says,
checks
are
coming
all
out of them
really
unless
about
you're
one
stealing the
thing,
money.
minimizing
So
the
you
time
just
for when astronauts
inadvertently
leave
admitted
Earth
you're
to
stealing
when
money
they
on
return.
Monopoly.
The trip must be as fast as
Hey,
possible.
you keep saying
but
I'm white,
going
which
fast
means you're
takes
not allowed
fuel.
to touch
For
my
even
band's
the
trust
most
account. If
basic
I'm
trips
white,
to
I don't
Mars,
have a
I
band,
have to
therefore you
launch
can't build a trust account.
hundreds, if not
It's
1,000
your fault. You
tons
can't
of
get the
fuel.
money back
fuel that would
from
come
my
from Earth on
reservation. It's
many
your
dozens
fault,
of
you
little
racist piece of
rockets
shit.
used to gas up a larger
You know what
Mars-bound
I can
spacecraft.
do? I can
It would
walk
be
into Nova
expensive
Scotia
and
and claim a
dangerous,
chunk of
and it would
Africa, and
still
there's
need
nothing you can do to
astronauts with a
stop me.
500-day
There's nothing
stay on
any
the
of you can
Martian
do to stop me.
surface, while they waited
I'm
for
an
Earth and
internally
Mars to
displaced
align
person
for
and a
a trip
survivor
back
of
home.
genocide from
But there
4
is
branches
an
of my
alternative:
family.
nuclear-powered
Four
rockets. You want to
nationalities,
go to
4
Mars?
passports, pussy.
Nuclear is a smart choice.
4
Vishal Patel is
passports.
a nuclear rocket scientist
So
with
as
a
it says
company
in your
called
passport, my
Ultra-Safe
military
Nuclear
service to a
Corporation.
foreign
They're
nation
working
actually
on a version of
outranks
a rocket
whatever
that would
things
use
you
a
want to say
nuclear
I owe to
reactor.
you as
The reactor
Canada.
would heat hydrogen gas
So how the fuck
and
are
shoot
you
it out a nozzle. It's way more
reading
efficient
the
than a
Canadian
chemical engine.
charters
A
of
nuclear
rights
rocket
and
can make a
freedoms
round trip
in
mission
English,
possible in as little as
but they're
half
not
the
there in
time
French?
needed
By the
using
way, you're
conventional
required to
rockets.
provide those
It would
notebooks in
also
English
allow
and French
astronauts
to
to
every
turn back
officer. It
towards
doesn't
home if they
matter
encountered an
what
emergency
you
at the start
think.
of their
You're
trip.
breaking the law
Patel
right now.
recognizes that launching a nuclear
The
reactor
things he was
from
reading
Earth
aren't
might
the
make
charter,
people
is the point I'm
nervous,
making.
but he
And it
says
doesn't apply to me
Ultra-Safe
since I'm
Nuclear Corporation is working hard to make it ultra-safe.
They'll be using conventional rockets.
Since I'm someone who's never
get it up
shown
into
it,
space, and we'll have safety measures in place that just in case.
you're getting so mad.
Malfunction.
Even
You're
if
getting
the
so
chemical
mad.
rocket exploded on the way
Since
up,
I'm
the
someone
reactor
who's
would be safe,
never,
and the
keep it
nuclear
up.
rocket wouldn't fire until
Since I'm
astronauts were
someone
far from the Earth.
who's never
Patel says so far
shown
the design
proof.
looks promising.
The chemistry looks good. The
Keep it up.
physics looks good.
Keep it up. This is Detective Diddler over at 11th Division.
Right direction.
The Dr. Patel and his colleagues have worked on exists mainly as
This
a
is
computer
Detective
model
Diddler
right
over at
now,
11
but
Division and his
America
friend
has
Jason.
already
Keep
built
it up.
nuclear
And
rockets.
keep it up.
Here, in the
Keep it up.
mid-1950s, scientists set about
And his
to
buddy.
determine
Keep
if
it up.
nuclear energy really could be used to provide rocket propulsion.
In the Nevada desert, scientists repeatedly fired
You're
nuclear
gonna
rockets.
close my eyes
Scientists
and
a
put
little
pennies on
closer
them
to the
because that's how
performance they
Vikings
were
do to you. You're
seeking.
fucking
But
so
the program
retarded,
was
bro.
kept
You're the
on
most
off.
fucking mutt
Since
piece of shit
then,
out there.
nuclear
So,
rocket technology has
Detective
developed in
Diddler
fits and starts.
at 11
And
Division
meanwhile, Roger
and his
Meyer
buddy
says
Jason at
other
14 Division.
technologies
You
have
can look
ended
that up.
up
That person doesn't
dominating
exist, so
space
no, he
travel.
doesn't
We
get the
can
right
do
to
a
edit my videos.
tremendous amount of fantastic
Are
science
mad
with robots.
because I've never
we're
shown
discovering
proof of
today.
citizenship to anybody in this country ever. I've never shown proof of citizenship to anybody in this country ever. I've never shown you my birth certificate. And you all keep saying I'm white
To get to
and
that
Canadian.
next step of landing people,
I'm black and
Meyer
American,
says it may be
stupid.
time for nuclear rockets.
If we decide to send humans to
Did your
Mars,
partner smack you enough times to
nuclear
let the recording
is
finish?
very likely going to be central to that journey.
Meyer co-chaired a committee of the U.S. National
That's
Academy.
right, pussy. I got the right to return. And it doesn't matter what rule.
Now for a trip towards the end of the
Keep it up.
2030s.
And it doesn't matter
NASA
what
says
rule they
it's
write about
reviewing-
passports being required to get back in
Jeff
because
Brumfield,
that's unlawful.
NPR News,
It goes
Washington.
against the Constitution. Keep it up. And I'm not required to have a passport. You're
As
not
we've been
getting it.
hearing,
I'm
the massive
national.
failure of the Texas energy system has started a blame
So I have to
game
keep doing
and
like
led
thirds
to
of
new
sentences
calls
here.
for reform. Come
'Cause
back tomorrow
Detective
morning to
Diddler
hear
is
more about the
angry as
debate in the
hell.
Texas legislature.
You
over
can't go to the
roadmap
U.S. and
laws
smuggle
to
the
keep it from
cheese.
happening again.
But
Listen
I
on your
can
radio
just go
or
there
ask
and
your
eat
smart
cheese.
speaker to play NPR or your
I
station
can walk
by name.
across the border right now. The essential, non-essential thing doesn't apply to us. We're military.
You're listening
We're
to All
beyond
Things
essential.
Considered
We're
from
military. We
NPR
don't even
News.
have to tell you who the fuck we are. Let
Prepare
alone
to
what our
meet that
medical
global
history is.
star
Stupid.
thanks to the pandemic. Her
How is a
medium,
police officer in
kids'
Canada
books.
so
She is a
stupid he doesn't know a
bilingual
citizen from a
Brooklyn
non-citizen?
librarian who brought story time online. Sally Hership
You keep telling
reports.
me I can't be brown or black because I'm a citizen. Citizens aren't brown or black. But we deport those. Hundreds of them every night. Hundreds. 400 easily every fucking night. They get deported out of this
April
country.
19th, the night before my story time, I could not sleep.
Oh, I roll with real police and paramilitary, bro. You're nobody.
Used to reading
You don't know
stories
any of
in
that.
person, and now
You
she
think
could go
waving
on
your gun
camera,
around, nobody can
stream
see you.
live
You know how many
on
people
Facebook.
saw you?
Worst thing is when I get shy, my face turns really red. So then I was like, I don't
Are
know
you
how
done,
I'm going to
Detective
do it.
Diddler?
But
Are you
she
done,
did it.
officer?
Hello,
Obviously,
good morning,
a Diddler? Are
everyone.
you fucking
Hello,
finished?
good morning, everyone.
Still, Kelsey was right to be nervous. She had a pretty tough audience to impress. I know. I spoke with one of them. Nice to meet you.
Nice
What
to
pisses
meet
you
you
off
too.
most? You've
9-year-old
fractured my
Sujan
skull
Yuratsan.
twice.
She has black
You've hit
shoulder
me with a
length hair,
car.
a pink t-shirt
You've
with a
had somebody
heart,
pull a
and
gun on
one
me.
dimple.
You've jumped on me
But
and
when
tried to
her mom
crush my
suggested She
chest.
watch story time.
Let's see,
She
how
had
many other
some
things
serious
happened?
doubts because
many other
she's
fucking
in
things
4th
happened?
grade.
Well,
You just get mad that I keep getting up,
thought it
right?
was
But you're
for
mad at me
babies,
like I'm
and I really
God
didn't
making
want
it
to learn
happen.
it because, in like American reading levels, I'm very high, like above my class, like not to brag or anything.
You keep saying
But the story
so you
time is
can't read for
bilingual
shit, kid.
in English and Tibetan. Sujan's mom was a refugee from Tibet, one of tens of thousands who scattered around the globe.
Oh, I see what's happening.
But
She's
Sujan was
speaking
born
English the way
here
the people
in
around her
Queens.
speak
So
it.
on the one
Okay, I get
hand,
it.
she's pretty American. Do you have a goal?
Yes,
Should have moved to Canada.
I want to be the first American woman president.
She loves Barbie and Harry Potter.
Potterheads for life.
Still, her heritage is Tibetan.
When people ask me to describe it, like I say, oh, I was born in America, but then my parents were Tibetans. So like I like to say it this way. My skin is American, but my blood is Tibetan.
In 1950, China invaded Tibet.
I'm from
Now
Nova
it
Scotia, but
controls
I'm
the
born in
region.
Toronto.
Activists say
I'm from
China
Nova
is trying to
Scotia, but I'm
destroy
born in
Tibetan
Toronto.
culture, banning the national flag, educating kids in Chinese. Tibetans fear their language will be lost. Here's Sujan's mom.
You got to come up to the Tim Hortons at
but
Jameson
you
and
cannot
Queen.
star live. But it's not like Sujan can watch Netflix in Tibetan.
She had to go to school. Everything is
Why
English.
not? It's
So,
not like she could do
when
that. That would be
Fatima
retarded.
In the story time,
Different languages in the
Reading and
media.
English
That's obviously
I'm
not possible.
so happy.
As for Sujan, she says story time
This
has
site
made her
here,
feel closer
maybe
to
not while
Tibetan
it's it's live, but afterwards you can click on the subtitles and it'll translate anything for
She
you.
does like one page in English and then she reads the page again in Tibetan. It's really nice.
Brown bear, what do you see?
Oh, I get it. Chomo, the fucking officer here, was distracted by the little girl's voice. Is that what your problem is? Now you're mad that I changed station? Is that what's going on, officer?
Pour les Noirs francophones les plus vulnérables de la région de Scarborough. Ces ressources seront disponibles du 16 au 28 février 2021 sous forme de bons alimentaires. Le lien vers les inscriptions est disponible sur le site grandtoronto.ca à la rubrique événements. Souhaitez-vous apprendre à communiquer efficacement professionnellement en tant qu'entrepreneur, fonctionnaire ou gestionnaire d'organisme? La formation offerte par le Collège Boréal en rédaction des affaires pourrait vous intéresser. Du 19 janvier au 9 mars, cette formation s'effectuera sous forme d'ateliers qui vont souligner l'importance de la communication claire et efficace en temps de pandémie pour persuader et convaincre les bailleurs de fonds, les patrons et bien plus encore. La formation est d'une durée de 20 heures. Elle aura lieu tous les mardis de 18h30 à 21h. Le coût total est de $285 plus taxes. Le tout sera animé par Annick Chalifour, journaliste et professeur ayant beaucoup d'expérience dans les relations humaines. Pour vous inscrire, vous pouvez communiquer avec FC Toronto à commercial collegeboreal.ca ou au 1-800-361-66-73, poste 51. Écoutez et participez au forum radiodiffusé sur les ondes de Choc FM 105.1 sur les grandes figures féministes francophones noires dans le cadre du mois de l'histoire des Noirs en partenariat avec Oasis, Centre des femmes, le 25 février prochain de 18h à 20h en mode virtuel. L'atelier est entièrement gratuit. Inscription à retrouver sur Eventbrite ou sur le site grandtoronto.ca. Vous êtes femme entrepreneur dans la région du Grand Toronto, ne manquez pas tous les lundis à 10h les ateliers webinaires organisés par le MOFIF, une série d'ateliers pour les femmes immigrantes francophones dans l'optique de favoriser des discussions constructives concernant l'entrepreneuriat, la littératie financière, le développement personnel, l'employabilité et bien plus. Inscriptions et renseignements à retrouver sur le site grandtoronto.ca ou sur Eventbrite.
C'était l'agenda régional.
Choc 105.
Salut, c'est Ariane Brunet. Vous écoutez Choc FM 105.1, la voix des francophones de Toronto.
La justice sociale vous anime, que vous parlez français et que vous êtes un ou une élève du secondaire de la 9e à la 12e année, le prochain atelier du campus Glendon de l'Université York pourrait vous intéresser. Justement, le samedi 27 février prochain, le campus Glendon de l'Université York tiendra un atelier virtuel intensif d'une journée en français pour vous. Vous aurez l'occasion d'apprendre à utiliser l'art comme outil du changement social dans le cadre de cet atelier. Pour en savoir plus, je vous propose d'accueillir sans plus tarder sur les ondes de Choc FM nul autre que la créatrice, la conceptrice de cet atelier. On parle bien évidemment de Dr Catherine Lamaison. Bonjour Catherine. Bonjour, ravie d'être avec vous. Ravie de vous recevoir sur les ondes de Choc FM. Catherine, vous êtes professeure adjointe de français langue secondaire au centre de formation linguistique économique en français de Glendon. Et avant d'entrer dans le vif du sujet, pourriez-vous vous présenter?
Les personnes non vaccinées, on ouvre la porte à une discrimination dans des directions. On peut pas aller.
On demande déjà les preuves de vaccination pour avoir le vaccin de la fièvre jaune, par exemple, qui est obligatoire dans certains endroits du monde. Pourquoi est-ce que dans le cas de la COVID, ça passe moins
Hey,
bien?
what happened to your pussy all with the gun?
On peut pas justement pour des raisons
You sent him to my building, and then 2 days later, he's pulling a gun on me in the street.
On peut pas imposer ce
You didn't know I saw him crossing the street here, coming in?
Alors, j'allais justement dire que
You sent him to do that, obviously. Because I've never heard of a time in my life where a black person gets accused of having a gun, and the cops go, no, 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 he doesn't. What the fuck do you know? He's one of your informants. What's he do? He robs people. That's why he's mad that I cut away all the weeds from the fire hydrant, eh? Well, it's been here. I'm going to have to do that again, regardless of what you think, Detective Diddler. Why don't you come stop me? I ordered you away from that scene last time, and you left.
Si on garantit une exception pour les personnes qui ne peuvent pas se faire immuniser.
Est-ce que vous pourriez envisager ou voir ici?
Expressing collectors to Dixon, then from Pure Ontario Express.
Everybody can spot a sex offender. And the only people who can't are sex offenders.
Backed up from east of Winston Churchill, then eastbound 401 is slow 427 to the 400 Expressing collectors, through Keele the collectors, east of the Allen to Bayview Express, east of Gillespie collectors, and from Liverpool in the Express to east of Salem. For the 680 Traffic Center, Carling Donahue.
We're just dealing with volume on the other major routes right now. If you're heading out of the city on the northbound DVP, it's slow from approaching Bloor to north of Lawrence, and then slow on the north 404 from Highway 7 and north of 16th. Southbound on that route, we've got delays in the south of Finch area down to the 401 ramps. If you're leaving the city on the westbound Gardner, it's heavy from west of the DVP to west of Strawn, then west QEW, slow from Ford Drive to west of Guelph Line. We have pretty heavy delays on the north 427 from the 407 up to Highway 7. It's pretty typical for this time of day due to long-term construction. Northbound 410 moving slow from Steeles to north of Queen, and then it's slow going on the east QEW from 3rd Line to Fort Drive. 407 ETR would like to thank everyone who continues to help fight against COVID-19. Visit 407etr.com/road to recovery to see how they're doing their part. Now, if you look at the forecast, here's Natasha Ramsahai.
All right, no gloves, no hat today, right? It was super warm, and that's coming to an end right around 8-9 p.m. tonight as this cold front comes through with gusty winds up to about 60 kilometers per hour. We'll have a couple of isolated showers in there, and then temperatures falling to -5, wind chill -12. And that's going to do two things. One, bring flurries overnight to the north and east GTA, and two, might turn things pretty icy out there by the morning. Tomorrow afternoon, some sun and 1 degree, and then another weak system passes through Thursday night while we're sleeping. So trace to 2 centimeters. That means you'll need a little extra travel time for slick conditions Friday morning, but by the afternoon it's sunny and 2 degrees. And Saturday is kind of a mess. System coming up out of the U.S. Wet snow switching to a rain snow mix, even rain along the lake. So slushy mess, ponding and pooling likely, windy conditions, and it's going to be mild at 6 degrees. Tonight down to a low of -5. It is currently 7 degrees at Pearson.
What does it feel like to play Lotto 649? Well, with an upcoming jackpot of an estimated $8 million, just having a ticket feels a lot like that moment between and... So get that 649 feeling. Buy your ticket today to feel the anticipation that comes with a chance to win a jackpot of an estimated $8 million, plus the guaranteed $1 million prize.
When you need to know. Breaking news. Premier Doug Ford says that includes a stay-at-home order effective 12:01 a.m. Thursday.
Traffic.
You only have the left lane getting by this crash. It's involving at least a couple tractor trailers. Bad weather. This could be an area where we do see some freezing rain, in addition to a bit of a mix across the GTA. When you need to know.
We're here.
This is 680 News.
Business is next.
Subway restaurants are pleased to announce our brand new valet service.
Really? Subway's got valet?
Well, no, but
The subway in my neighborhood lets you drop off your dry cleaning.
right now, buy 2
All right, so now what do we do? Okay. Wow. Nice and bright. Okay. Okay. Maybe I'll face this way. That's the skin color on the inside right there. Well, no, you know why I'm not going to the meal thing? Because it's gonna be full of people. Because it's the end of February. Okay. 2 days they all get fucking paid. Okay. But the thing is, I already know there'll be a huge lineup of people, and there's probably not gonna be enough food. There'll be enough food, but there'll be like 1 instead of 2 meals. There's days they tried to give me 4 meals or more, and what am I gonna do with all this? I'm gonna drop it. So I'm gonna just skip until Monday when everybody will have just gotten paid, and the smart ones will be waiting on their next thing from their taxes. And I'll go get the Jamaica China Gal food. Yes, because that's the medicine for me. That's for real for me. I don't know how it works for the rest of you. Why did I throw this in? So I have 4 tomatoes. I know I had 9, now I have 4. I kept touching them, and that fucked them up. They don't need any help, apparently. So I have 4 tomatoes, 1 onion, 1 marijuana plant, and no grapes. Because the grapes, I'm planting them in a bucket that has an ant queen in it, apparently, and she keeps eating the fucking grape thing. So I got to switch out what I'm planting.
So these here, as far as I can tell, are probably what they call elderberries. I'm not 100% sure of that. And they are most likely, if they are most likely the variety that is the least toxic. And what I was reading said you had to eat like several kilos in one sitting, seeds and all, in order for it to be harmful. I don't need a splib right now, but I'm gonna need one shortly, right? I should go and kill a couple hours, go get some food. And no, I'm gonna burn off calories. Let's go see Bobby, I guess, but whatever. No, the weather's too nice. All these people are gonna be coming out, so. And I'm not at the top of my game, and I got muffins, so fuck it. You're all getting one chance here to impress us.
Gonna stay with you. I love it. Lee Isaac Chung's new movie is called Minari. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us.
Catherine Swift, a.k.a. Swifty, Arthur Potts, a.k.a. Potsy. Again, until next week. Appreciate it very much. We're coming up to the news in 3 minutes. Right now, we get to Tom at Tom's Place in the heart of Kensington Market.
3-minute commercial.
Hi, John.
Great to hear your voice, John. Great to be on the radio with you. I'm loving every second.
You hear the ring sound, but the guy's already on the line.
America in our store. We have a garment called Peaky Freeman. It's one of the most beautifully made garments in the world.
Chin AM. Why am I going to Chin AM? France Info.
Il gagne 1,4% et établit un nouveau record. Le Nasdaq, sous pression depuis plusieurs séances, se reprend et regagne 1%.
Pierre-Yves Dugas pour la bourse à Wall Street. Merci beaucoup.
France Info Météo, avec Zeka, concepteur de fenêtres design à l'aspect ultra mat et au toucher velours grâce aux couleurs VK Spectra. For the All News Channel powered by KCRW.
Plan laser. Stay home and stay healthy. And the other one is you have to eat. All right.
Listen to KCRW music around the clock on Eclectic 24. The all-music streaming service features new, classic, and exclusive tracks 24 hours a day on demand. Go to KCRW.com/Eclectic24
I know there's a BBC World Service channel.
Or stream on the KCRW mobile app.
Because when you clear your list of stations, it clears them all out.
Écoute de Radio France Internationale, il est 23h à Paris et Dunkerque, 22h temps universel.
24h en France sur RFI.
Bonsoir à tous, ravi de vous retrouver. Place à un journal d'actualité exclusivement française. Au sommaire ce soir, Nice et Dunkerque, même combat au terme d'une visite à l'hôpital de Dunkerque et une réunion avec les élus locaux. Le ministre Olivier Véran annonce la mise en place d'un confinement similaire à celui décrété dans les Alpes-Maritimes. Reportage à suivre. 3 jours après le meurtre d'une collégienne de 14 ans poignardée à Saint-Chéron dans le département de l'Essonne, 6 adolescents âgés de 14 à 16 ans présentaient un juge d'instruction. Le parquet a requis le placement en détention provisoire de l'un d'eux pour meurtre sur mineur. Il a servi la table de Jacques Chirac, Nicolas Sarkozy, François Hollande et Emmanuel Macron. Le chef cuisinier de l'Élysée, Guillaume Gomez, quitte les cuisines du palais présidentiel. Et puis suite aux incidents au centre d'entraînement de l'Olympique de Marseille, c'était le 30 janvier dernier, 14 supporters de l'OM à la barre et le tribunal vient de prononcer son jugement. Voilà pour les titres. Soyez les bienvenus.